Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a Premier League presentation bringing you guys a game between Kaipi Gaming and Evil Geniuses. This game was postponed a little bit here, kind of backtracking to the previous round. Pretty much what we're looking at there was Evil Geniuses having some unfortunate network issues they couldn't resolve in time, but fortunately the ruling was that if they could get it resolved after the next game, then we were all set. So moving on into this game here, sorry for Kaipi for having to wait a little bit, but finally going on into it. Should be an exciting match between these guys here, best of one of course, and we'll see what these guys bring to the table. But yeah, Kaipi versus EG, jumping on into the draft. I myself am Blaze, joined by Triumphant Man. How's it going?
Yeah, it's good. I'm just looking at the players there on Kaipi. I'm pretty sure Chihaya is, in fact, Envy there, drafting for them. We're just going to call him that. I'm pretty sure we saw him last week as well, so that's going to be his name, though he's not tagged up. But straight away, we've got EG, going to ban out the Bat Rider, as well as the Nyx Assassin, also being banned out by Kaipi. Now, just a note on Kaipi, they favour late game hard carries, and they usually, if not always, pick either the Void, the Animage, or the Phantom Lance to round out their lineup. So we'll probably see them grab one of those. They like to just sit down and farm and get ready for that late game. But EG, on the other hand, can be fairly aggressive. That said, they do like to get JO farmed up as well.
Yeah, that is, just double checking, that is Envy drafting it up, of course, so we are all set and good to go. But yeah, this should be interesting. Banning out the Shadow Demon and Nyx, taking out these clutch supports. What do you think Kaipi has in mind with this kind of a draft? They're great supports, don't get me wrong, but it's something that we don't traditionally see, so they want to take out a couple of supports. They know they have first pick. I'm curious to see what they have in mind here.
I'm not dead sure either. I mean, yeah, they got rid of a couple of... there we go. Okay, so they wanted the Keeper straight away. Okay, getting rid of the Nyx makes perfect sense. Like, these two heroes can really, really screw up Keeper Light throwing out Illuminates. Obviously, you throw down the Disruption at the right moment. You can help them dodge the Illuminates. And, of course, Spike Carapace is just such a kick in the balls to Keeper Light to have to play against. So I see them banning that. But that said, I mean, they're giving away really top-tier heroes such as Bane and Lifestealer. I mean, EG, they like their Bane. The Lifestealer, of course, flavor of the month, if not the last couple of months. So, I mean, you've really got to want that Keeper Light. So maybe this could be a Phantom Lancer coming out, and it could be a Keeper Light Phantom Lancer they're picking up straight away. That son of a bitch, there goes my internet connection. Oh. So, I don't know if anybody can hear this.
No, you're good.
Oh, there we go. Okay, we're back. Okay, so people could hear me in-game, but they probably couldn't hear me in the stream, so I'll just go over that quickly. What did you hear last?
No, you're actually pretty good. Like, I cut out for maybe a second and a half. You're good.
Okay, good, because I swore during that. Anyway, there we go. So yeah, like I said, I mean, they've got to really want this Keeper Light. So I think it might be a Keeper Light and Phantom Lancer getting tossed in there. I mean, that's a really spammy lane. Phantom Lancer really loves his Chakra, and you can't really stay in the lane against that.
Yeah.
But it's going to be a Clockwork instead. All right.
Very, very difficult to lane against, but we are going to see this picked up. Yeah, it's interesting. Bone 7 loves his Clockwork. He picks it up on the offlane pretty much any opportunity, where his Clockwork is like Admiral Bulldog's Lone Druid. At least that's what he likes to think. We'll see if it actually comes into fruition here. But it's also really, really good against the heroes that he's up against here. Lifestealer, you can cage the beast, you put down the cogs on top of him, and there's really not a great way for him to get on out of that. And as long as Clock picks up a Ghost or a Force, he's going to be fine and dandy there. On top of that, if you get close proximity to Bane, and you have that Battery Assault active, there's no way he's going to get a good Fiend's Grip off. So it's really good to just disrupt those two very, very actively. And of course, on top of that, it's just a great pickup in this circumstance because Bone 7 loves it. So it'll work out pretty well. I'm interested to see how this tri-lane will work out, though. Keeper Light and Visage, Grave Chill into Illuminate. Seems like it could be a very, very powerful lockdown, especially when you consider the 200 damage burst will be charging up Visage's souls to follow up with a soul assumption immediately after the fact. So a lot of burst, but EG has the carries to deal with it, or the core heroes, I should say. Lifestealer with the Rage and a Refraction on the TA. Those high damage nukes will just kind of fall on deaf ears when it hits Refraction.
I'll tell you what I'm looking forward to in 6.78. With Doom getting some buffs, I mean, we might even see the return of JO's Doom. And JO plays a really interesting Doom where he actually goes for full-on Speed Demon, grabs up the early drums, picks up the... This is way back last year, but he would pick up drums, and then he would also grab the Kobold Taskmaster for the massive speed aura, so he would go zooming around the map. But that said, there is still the issue of Doom has really low armor, so I don't know if they'll go for that. But anyway, we'll see, especially with heroes like Alchemist, so common these days. Negative armor just completely wrecks Doom. But second series of bans, we're going to have the Rubik being banned here. Wow, Kaipi, they don't like these supports at all. They're saying, you know what, Evil Geniuses? We're going to get rid of all your support. That said, they've already picked up the Bane straight away. So, I mean, EG only need to work in one more support. But the question is, what are they worried about here? Why are they getting rid of the Rubik? Is it the cast time? Are they really worried about just the fact you can just land at those instantaneous stuns? Or are they really planning on getting some really big nasty ults in here? We'll see.
Yeah, it's actually a really good point. Rubik plus Bane, that's not a composition you're afraid of. I mean, they have the setup, but they don't have the follow-through. They're not a Lina or a Leshrac. They help to set up others. They can be very frustrating to deal with. But generally speaking, those two in synergy aren't the biggest deal in the world. And on top of that, there is really not that much that they currently have that's that scary to spell steal. I mean, each one has powerful spells. I mean, in general, that's the idea of having a hero in Dota 2 is to have something that you bring to the table that provides some area of presence, but Rubik's Steals wouldn't be that big of a deal, no matter who, from Clockwork, from Keeper Light, or from Visage. They're good, but they're not insurmountable, and so I'm really curious for why the Rubik is, in this case, their go-to ban. Obviously taking out another support, but along with that, maybe they're looking at picking up one of those big, powerful ultimates, maybe looking for a Magnus for themselves, something along those lines, and so we'll have to wait and see, but the Rubik definitely kind of shows that they, if not just because of the fact that they like their current set of skills, they might be wanting to pick up some powerful skills for their next two selections.
We'll see what they've got in mind as we see the Gyro Cup to the final ban here. Now, I mean, this has left the three most common... I mean, Kaipi, they run, like I said, they run those right-click hard carries really, really commonly. We'll see if they change up their plans at all, but I mean, that said, I mean, they'd like to run the Void, the AM, the... I mean, actually, that would make sense. If they're looking for a Void, they don't want Rubik in that lineup. That would make perfect sense, actually, now that I think about it, the fact that they love the Void, and you don't want to have Rubik against Void just because it's just like Bane. It's really, really easy to steal that ult, and of course, you don't want to be copying your own chrono. There we go, there it is. There's the Faceless Void. So we'll probably have Keeper Light and Visage back at the Faceless Void there. They'll run a defensive trial, and Clockwork likely to go mid, although, I mean, that said, at a pinch, he can off lane. So, I mean, they've got some options open there, but I expect the Clockwork to go solo mid, so they're probably looking for a suicide hero here. They did ban out the Darkseer, and again, that makes a lot of sense, just because you let them have Darkseer, they can use your chrono against you if they get a good vacuum off. They can just suck your allies inside the chrono and just screw them over like that. So, I like those series of bans there, but that said, I mean, they're putting a lot. They're putting quite a few chickens, quite a few eggs in the one basket there, so I don't know about it. This could be a bit of a problem for them.
Yeah, so it looks like, based on the fact that they're up against Visage and Keeper Light, Evil Geniuses wants to avoid that lane altogether. Nature's Prophet probably just going to start off in the jungle, and Arteezy's going to get his Zeus. Oh my goodness, this is going to be fun.
Wow.
Yeah, I definitely expected Bone 7. Clockwork is his thing. He's going to take it on off lane. That leaves Arteezy. He likes to play those kind of generally mobile heroes that do a lot of potential damage, so we see the Queen of Pain and Stormsphere banned out in respect to him, but the Zeus is very, very interesting. Picking that up there, he plays an interesting Zeus, and it has been used to great effect. Like, he wins with this hero, which is not something that everybody can say. So, with that, combining together, they'll get the Chronospheres, they'll get the Wrath of Nature, and we'll see how they can follow through from there. One thing I've really just thought about, this is his Soul Assumption. If he's anywhere near enemy heroes and Wrath of Nature comes, or not Wrath of Nature, sorry, Thunder God's Wrath comes out, instantly Visage is max souls, and that's going to be nuke on top of nuke, add in a Veiled Discord, and you have some very, very dead heroes.
Okay, here's my big worry. Zeus struggle if you can like hammer Zeus in the laning pace, he really struggles to get back into it, and he's very, very vulnerable. Low attack range means he has to only get up close, unless he's spamming unless he can spam the chain lightning, of course. But that said, Templar Assassin, I think, is going to give him a lot of grief in the laning phase. Like, he is going to have to hang really far back and use that chain lightning. He's not really going to be able to harass Templar Assassin too much, because she can, of course, bounce the majority of its damage with the refraction, which again, I think he's going to struggle a little bit in the laning phase, especially if they decide, because I mean, most likely we're going to have defensive tri-lane, which means Evil Geniuses supports, as well as the fact they've got a Nature's Prophet. They can quite easily jump on top of Zeus, and like, if he comes forward, Nature's Prophet can get in behind him, get the sprouts down. I think he is going to struggle in this laning phase, and I'm a little bit worried about that. That said, like you said, Arteezy can make Zeus work though, so we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah. Well, he's kind of considered, at least by some, to be a very, very powerful hero that doesn't lose his lane in general. And one cool thing about Zeus is if he puts his point in his passive and gets the static up, then what that actually means is that he'll take 2 points of refraction off for most of his Arc Lightning casts, as long as TA is not very low HP, because it does scale on percentage of current HP. But that does mean that Zeus has the potential to burn through it, and as soon as it's gone, Lightning Bolts will come on down. So that'll be pretty interesting. If he can make it work, we'll have to keep an eye on the lane. But for right now, the final pickup here is Fear's Sand King. So setting it up, Bane, Nightmare into Burrow Strike, having the open wounds to follow through. Jo, Fear, and yeah, we're going to see also 60 Bamboo on the Nature Prophet. So this is going to be really, really interesting as far as our whole composition. They have Nake's Bumps, as we saw last game. That's going to be devastating. And then I think in general, their lanes are pretty well set up.
I mean, yeah, Kaipi are looking for they want to hold, just want to get the late
Sure.
game, and then go for the full-on team fights. I mean, Lifesteal is good, but at the same time, I'm pretty sure Faceless Void is going to outscale him towards the end, just because once he gets Lifesteal inside the Chrono, he can just pretty much destroy him for the most part there. And as well as the fact, I mean, Templar Assassin again, pretty good, but still, I don't know. They might have enough. I mean, Faceless Void, obviously Kaipi are really relying on this Faceless Void, but if this goes super late and EG get the farm happening, they've got three pretty good late gamers. You've got Templar Assassin, Nature's Prophet, of course, can be devastating when farmed, and then between that and Lifestealer, I mean, even if Void gets all his 6 items, I think he may still get overwhelmed. It's really going to come down to how much backup he can get out of that Zeus, and that's my biggest issue, the fact that Zeus does not scale that well. I mean, he's going to be devastating. He's going to be devastating up until about the 40-minute mark. But once you start getting a lot of resistance, the pipes come out, the mechs come out. I think he's definitely going to be quite vulnerable.
Yeah.
Especially he has to get close to the fight. Like he wants to get in. It's not so much the range in his spells. It's his aura. He needs to get in close to use the aura. Well, not so much close, but he needs to get like pretty much as many heroes as he can within range of that, and that's going to force him to come close. That's going to leave him open to getting jumped by Templar Assassin if she goes for the blink, and as well as the epicenters from the Sanking. That said, the Zeus versus the Sanking, if he times it right, if they get a bit of scouting done, if they get the wards up, they can see the Sanking coming with the epicenters. Of course, he can use his ult to just pretty much stave that off. So we'll see.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. The aspect of Thunder God's Wrath, even if he's not contributing that much to the fight, other than a little bit of damage here and there, if he puts Fear's Blink Dagger on cooldown in the middle of an epicenter and pretty much makes that epi useless as a result of that, completely just 100% made it worth it for that individual fight. And honestly, in this position here, I feel that they are pretty confident as long as Eternal Envy picks up a relatively well-timed Black King bar. Now, the one thing I'm concerned about is Eternal Envy, time and time again, he picks up this Void, he loves to go very early for Power Treads, Mask of Madness, every single time. And the problem with that is that even as soon as Bane hits level 6, as soon as the Prophet gets a good either Orchid or Sheepstick, anything as far as locking him down, Faceless Void, if he doesn't have that Black King bar, he's going to have a lot of problem, a lot of magic damage coming in very, very quickly, and he doesn't really have that survivability, especially if he's increasing the damage he receives by 30%. So has to be very cautious about how that plays out, and until he gets the BKB, he's not going to feel all that confident. And even after that, you were kind of talking about the late game potential of Evil Geniuses, especially if you look at Basher or Abyssal from the Lifestealer. If we look at Fiend's Grip coming out from Bane after Clockwork can't, if Clockwork can't interrupt him, it just is going to really, really screw over Void. So they do have all their eggs in this one basket, and they're going to have to make sure that not only their laning phase pays off with the pickup of the Visage, who's generally going to control it pretty well, but also that they're going to have some large amounts of aggression very early on.
We'll see. Indeed. But, a bit of a wait here as it looks like Kaipi, who's disconnected there? Who is that?
Oh,
Paladai. There we go. Okay. Yeah, Paladai. There we go. He's going to be back in now. I think, honestly, if Void can get a decent amount of farm, I mean, Void, as long as they force the Nature's Prophet back initially, he should be okay. Especially if they do the early regen pull, I think Void should be fine to farm his own there. And the thing is, they're going to want to definitely put pressure on this Templar Assassin, like you were just talking about the fact that they have these three sort of late game potential heroes on EG side. They really want to put pressure on the multiple lanes as much as possible. Like, obviously, Bambo playing the Nature's Prophet, they leave him alone to get some farm, he'll be fairly annoying, but I think he is going to become an issue a lot later in the game, whereas if they give an early Blink Dagger or let Templar Assassin get an early Desolator, she's going to become much more of an issue quite quickly. So they will want to, I think, just play stacks on in the mid and just crush her as quickly as possible and help Arteezy get ahead, definitely. And I mean, if Arteezy can get ahead by the 15 to 20 minute mark, he can cause so much trouble around the map just because of the insane amount of burst damage that he packs. And the fact, of course, he can assist in fights all around the map with his global presence.
Yep. So it doesn't look like they're actually going to go for the level 1 Flying Courier that they have often done, actually using it to block spawns off on that top lane. It means that, I don't know, Bone 7 is going to have to change his strategy a little bit. Right now it picks up Stout Shield, and I expect him to be going towards that top lane, but for right now is kind of leading the march down on bottom there in case there is an early skirmish. But yeah, it's interesting, this kind of position that they're in here. Bone 7 will not be able to really set up very well up on that top lane, and it does look like, based on the movements of the Treants, no, they're just probably scouting out for anybody trying to invade the jungle here. But as far as Bambo's starting items, do you think he's going to actually be hitting the lane or the jungle?
I mean, I think he's just checking how much trouble. I think he's probably going to go to the lane first as well. He hasn't started off with the Basilisk. He started off with Tango, so I mean, he's expecting to tank some damage.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of expecting him to go to lane there. And again, see, first of all, he did indeed get the regen pulls. I really think that these guys either want to leave him alone either to gank or to try and farm, get their supports in a position to get an early item, then they can put a lot of pressure down. But I think definitely Kaipi need to play, like they don't want to sit back and just defend like old Chinese Dota where it would just be defend, get that carry farmed. I think they need to get these supports active by at least sort of towards the mid game and start putting pressure across the map and really start forcing EG into these fights. And because otherwise, I mean, if they leave this too late, I really think they're just going to get overwhelmed. Void, for all the farm he can get, he's not going to be able to compete with, what, 12 slots, of 18 slots worth of items.
Yeah.
As opposed to his own 6.
100%. I agree with you there. So it's going to come down to who's the most aggressive because both, I wouldn't say that Void is necessarily a kill-oriented carry, but in this position they need to be a kill-oriented team to be able to take it to a successful, high net worth advantaged mid to late game. Comparatively, EG, they want to put out some pressure just because although they do technically have the late game as far as their scalability of their heroes, generally the most common way for those heroes to get there is through the use of the kills. Going in Nake's bombs, going in Templar Assassin, ganking hardcore. That's how you get those heroes to a farm threatening level. But we actually do see an interesting movement here. I have seen this a couple times before. I honestly don't have a really good explanation for it, but what they're doing right now is doing kind of a pseudo 2-1-2 where we have Keep It Light and Bone 7. The Ezalor and the Clockwork together, they have cogs, they have Illuminate, they can push away and kind of screw with the lifestealer, but I honestly don't exactly understand it other than the fact that they have some high survivability and the Keep It Light can just stay back.
You know, actually, meanwhile, in bottom lane, Keep It Alive, oh, not Keep It Alive, freaking Nature's Prophet, just stacking and pulling, basically jamming up the Radiant creeps there with the Trance and just forcing him to group up there. It looks like he also, I think he might have used his Sprout a little bit as well to jam his own creeps. But anyway, actually, no, he's still in level 1, doesn't have it just yet. But anyway, it looks like they are going to manage to pull up on the Dire side there, and I'm honestly not dead sure. I think it's possible, just give them the lane presence. See, I mean, if they're gonna bring 2 heroes up here, I think this is probably what they want to do. Just the fact that they can actually access these pulls. Because if Clockwork's up here solo, he can't really afford to do this pull. Because what will happen is he'll pull and then EG will just basically jack the pull off him. They'll force him out the 2v1, just force him back, and then they'll use his pull against him and just use it to farm both the creep wave as well as the hard stack there. So I think this is possibly why they're doing it. Also, the fact that bringing Keep It Alive up here just lets Bone 7 spam the crap out of Rocket Flare as well. So I think that's going to help out just a bit on top of that. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, though, we see looks like Arteezy's falling a little bit behind Demon, although it's a little bit too hard. It's a little bit early to tell here. Demon, in fact, opting for the early Magic Stick as opposed to just straight rushing the bottle. He's going to pick up the bottle next, but having that Magic Stick there is going to help deal with the Zeus, and this is pretty much what's going to cause trouble with him. If we're doing Psyblades as well, and the Refraction, he's going to take a lot of damage. You see Zeus getting harassed really, really hard. Even though he's already got his bottle, he's taking a lot more damage than Demon is, and I think this is going to be a bit of an issue for him.
So we're actually seeing Keep the Light doing some snipes, picking up a Hellbear Smasher, or not the Smasher, but the lesser one, and along with that doing some harassment onto Jo there, so he is actually putting himself in a pretty good spot. I also see a rotation of Pilot Eye, de-warding here on the high ground right before the Sentry expires. I placed this at the very beginning of the game, and they're actually able to set things up, but while we're going on into that, there is actually going to be, I'm assuming a Lucky Bash proc to set this up, but anyways, what happened? Oh, did you see it?
Yeah, I saw it. There wasn't a Bash proc, but it just came down to the fact that the Soul Assumption just did way too much damage for him. He was trying to teleport out. And obviously, it takes quite a while, so it was just Void hitting him along with the Creep Wave and then just throwing a nuke just at the end there. It was enough to drill him down.
Was he full HP when they started?
I think he'd taken a little bit of harassment, but yeah. Like, he just left it too long on the teleport out.
Yeah, unfortunate, but I mean, of course, the Vistas can dish out a ton of damage. It's just something you don't expect to really see is Soul Assumption faces Void setting up a level 2 kill. I mean, it's just really, really weird, but yeah, they make their mark on the map here and forcing Bambo back a little bit. The best thing about it is that Eternal Envy with this Poor Man's Shield can trade back and forth with the Prophet over and over. You can't generally say that about a melee hero versus a ranged one, but right here, Eternal Envy very happy to just march on in. If he gets a Bash proc, even more damage. So it's been pretty effective thus far, obviously, and that does set them up nicely if he wants to move in towards maybe a Midas instead of his standard item build.
Yeah, I mean, he can afford just to chuck. I mean, he's got a Poor Man's Shield, so if he's gonna trade hits with Prophet, he's gonna win. There's not a lot Prophet can do about it. I mean, he hasn't even bothered to level the backtrack. He doesn't need it with the Poor Man's Shield just there. He just goes straight for those early Bash procs. But I'm just looking at this mid lane here. At the moment, it looks like Zeus just managed to edge ahead. Demon and Arteezy here very evenly matched at the moment, although that said, Arteezy has actually left the lane to pick up the rune, and he's got a haste rune bottle up there, just picks up his boots now as well. Zeus still crowing the bottle back and forth. I think he's falling behind here just a little. No, he just gets his boots out right now. That said, I think Demon is starting to edge him out here, and he's going to have the chance to get more mobile and cause more damage along the map. That said, though, I don't know if they're going to be able to shut down the Void just because they don't really have the stuns available. Low-level Sand King, of course, he's tri-laning, so he's not going to have the range on the stun, I think, necessary to set up the kills on the Void down in the bottom lane. And I think that's going to be a bit of an issue for them.
Absolutely. So there's not really much rotation to be done. Bambo doing a little bit of work here with the Treants. I'm not sure if he's going for any item in particular. Doesn't have his boots or Bassi finished yet, so maybe he's just working his way towards a Midas if he wants to get all that greedy and make sure that he can have a successful mid to late. But one thing to mention is the current status of the creep waves, in the sense that there is so many times that the Templar Assassin tries to go out and pick up runes. So he's actually missed out on a little bit of experience per minute here. Still topping out, though, as there are more denies for the TA. Fear coming on in, but only a rank 3 Burrow Strike is not going to connect. They don't have traps to slow him or anything, so RTZ can just keep walking away. Boots of speed on both of them, so Burrow Strike will not connect. Instead, Fear continuing to walk, and it looks like actually Demon might be turned around on right here. Goes for the Meld Strike because of the tower right clicks, pops out the Regen Rune at the exact same time. Very important timing there. Regen Rune plus Meld Strike gets him on out of there. Otherwise, it would have been a little bit overzealous commitment. And instead, up on top lane, we do see Jay doing a lot of right clicks to Bone 7, trying to bring him down, but able to walk on away after picking up a kill on the Bane. Closing on in with those cogs. Really, or maybe not with the cogs, maybe. Really nicely done either way.
I was about to call a patented EG throw there from Demon, but very nice recovery from him with that timing on the regeneration rune and the meld there. Fear now rolling top. They might have gotten a little bit too aggressive. Kaipi could be exposed here. Here comes the Burrow Strike. Going to land on Bone 7 there, and now JR moving in as well. Going to throw down the open wounds. Not going to have the mana there for Rage. Doesn't matter. The cogs come down. They will manage to pick up the kill. Unfortunately, lock himself in there. I think he was hoping that Piley might be able to finish somebody off, but not going to happen there. JO going to snag himself a kill, and EG going to lock one on the board finally. That said, bottom lane, Bambo still struggling to really get in here. I mean, he just can't really get a whole lot of fun in, just because every time he comes in close, Faceless Void just runs up and starts hitting him. So he's had to stay way back up. I think now is about the time. He's got a Basilius. He should either do what we were seeing last match, just go, you know what, let me just do the Ancients, or let me go and do our jungle instead, because at the moment EG's supports aren't making huge use of. I mean, they're using the pull here at the medium camp, but they're not doing what we saw last match, which was just pulls everywhere, using the hard camp, using the easy camp, using pulls all over the map and stacking like crazy.
Yeah, so we are seeing the end result, only 168 experience per minute for Fear on the Sand King, and not even but 100 on that of the Bane. So interesting back and forth there. We do see yet another rune controlled by Templar Assassin. Double damage is very, very scary. And if they do get another rotation in from maybe the Sand King again, this time they have the traps. They have the Sonic traps, can slow down Arteezy to the point that they actually can't get that much going on. However, good movement from Arteezy. He actually bought his own Sentry Wards, I believe, actually. Nope, they were picked up by Pilot put on the mid lane here, and now he can harass down Demon, already out of Refraction. And, yeah, just expending mana over and over again. Luckily, though, that Magic Stick doing work and going to make sure that he has plenty available. Meanwhile, on bottom, the Chronosphere popped off. Bambo doesn't have his teleport available. Too many right clicks coming on in. He does get the Sprout off. Tries to go for the TP, but there's that Thunder God's Wrath to finish him off. Good ultimate coming out from the Zeus. And Arteezy picks up a nice kill for himself.
I mean, it's an easy kill. I mean, there's that global presence at work there. And it looks like, come with me, I'm just looking at these items here, and you called it. You called it. Here comes the Mask of Madness on Faceless Void. Treads the Mask of Madness. Apparently every time MV goes for it.
Exactly, but I mean, it does have a lot of offensive potential, especially in a 1v1 environment, just getting all that attack speed. I mean, there's nothing else that's that offensive. You see Bone 7, gonna have a lot of issues here with the Burst Strike to come on through, and yeah, Bambo teleporting up to transition this into a push after the fact. Might have tried to pick out Pilot Eye with a Sprout as well, but obviously not gonna get that accomplished here, so I think they might as well push, but they have to wait 10 seconds before the Treants spawn, and instead, Bambo's just gonna fall back. At least it looks like it for the moment.
Yeah, I mean, they wouldn't have got the kill on Pilot Eye anyway, because actually Bambo just dropped a Tango there for Sango. I was going to say, Pilot Eye does actually have his own Tango there, so he'd been able to cut his way free. Meanwhile, though, it looks like Templar Assassin being, actually interesting, going for the treads once again, as we see, throws down the trap. They're just going to harass Arteezy. Arteezy, they're backing up before he gets caught out. Has thrown down. I like this ward, like you were talking about, this ward really, really good, because the most common place for a Templar Assassin to put wards, put those traps right on top of the enemy hill there, just so they troublesome for them to come forward and farm. They always have to worry about that threat, but that early ward there, allowing Arteezy to safely push forward and farm, just by keeping that clear there. I really like that from Kaipi.
Yep.
That said, top lane, looks like Jo has decided to go straight for an armlet, has picked up the Helm of Iron Well, getting harassed really hard though by those Illuminates.
Now we do see Demon coming in from behind the tower, has invisibility, pops off the Meld Strike. Curious what he's going for here. A courier snipe, perhaps? On the courier is, no, yeah, it does have the bottle.
Yeah.
Oh, that's going to be a nice pick off for Demon. Really, really cool move. Uses the invisibility rune, melds into the middle of the lane. The courier will be coming on through, hasted away. Thinks everything's nice and peachy. Might actually go too far to the south. He actually survives, and the Thunder God's Wrath scouts out Demon. He gets the vision, and instead, that courier going to be able to sneak on away and provide that bottle. Wow, that was really, really important for them to actually keep it alive.
Wow. Wow, indeed. I've got to say, Arteezy, did he know, or was that just a lucky break from there? I think either way, I don't think Templar Assassin would have been able to run down the courier anyway, just because it was hasted, and the fact that it was way out of his attack range. And of course, Psyblades is one of the last things that you will level up as a Templar Assassin anyway, so there is that. In fact, yeah, she has gone for the level 2 meld already, so I think that was way out of range for him. But looks like she's going to go for the kill here, throws down the counter wall, but here come the Ancient, the Visage, going to throw the minions in. First stun, second stun not needed, and an easy kill there for them. Come With Me going to snag that one for himself.
Yeah, really, really good rotation from Come With Me. Setting it up, he already has 3 points in Soul Assumption, so he can do a lot of damage and clearing it up so that he might be able to make that do work on the other lanes here. But yeah, just good movement at all, as a whole. I think that Thunder God's Wrath came out because he knew that there was the Templar Assassin missing. I'm not sure if he knew about the Invis rune specifically, but he certainly knew she wasn't available there, and although he wasn't going to get a kill with it, he wanted to scout with it, so he got the vision he needed. Although, fortunately for him, the courier was never really in that much harm's way. Either way, oh, Arteezy, what is he doing here? This isn't a bait, this is just him making a huge mistake here. Gonna get body blocked and right-click down, going on the high ground right up into the Sand King. Huge mistake from Arteezy, unfortunately, and that does cost him his first death, and unfortunately, he can't really afford those kinds of deaths this early on because you don't have much mobility, you don't have much survivability, and each little inch you give to EG, they're going to take a mile.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think the nighttime vision kind of screwed him over there. Didn't have the... Oh, actually, no, he could have seen that coming. They've both got wards down on the bottom run, so he might have actually seen Sand King come through there, but it doesn't matter. Either way, he gets picked off. Now Bane might be in trouble. Illuminate comes through, just clips a hook shot. No, actually, no, Illuminate doesn't get him, that the Rocket player does, but he should be able to walk away here. I don't think the Familiar is going to be able to do enough damage. In fact, we're going to see Bambo come up and try and clean a few of them off there. Throws down the stun there from the first one. Second one as well, throwing down those stuns. Just going to harass Bambo and be irritating for him. And in fact, we might even see Visage reach some... Oh, actually, no, they're a full minute away. Never mind.
Unfortunately.
But they're going to pick off one. Wow, that's a lot of extra gold there. I don't know about that.
Yeah, just unfortunately handing it away. They really wanted to try to break down Beatez. He was on pretty low HP, but the hook shot not connecting just allowed him to survive. And of course, they only just now got Thunder God's Wrath up and available, and that's just not going to do enough, unfortunately. So now we do see actually moving on in. Demon, another haste rune coming on out, and they will be able to burst down Pilot A hardcore. Arteezy doing what he can, but Fates of Void not there fast enough with that. Chrono instead going on the mid lane, gets it on top of Fear. One lightning bolt should be enough to set it up for the kill, and there it is. A little bit of Wrath of Nature going back around might give Demon an opportunity to turn this around. Trap comes on through. Eternal Envy taking a lot of right clicks here, does not backtrack that Meld Strike, and instead gets dropped down. Now man mode on Arteezy here. TP coming on in from the Clockwork. What, is going to be able to get the cogs off here? No. Too long of a TP, delayed out, increased time period. Has the hookshot, just came off cooldown, but would be very, very far forward if he did jump on in, and there is the Prophet who just rotated on through. So, interesting back and forth there, but the end result is Face of Void committing Chrono, getting a kill, but then dying himself.
I just noticed, well, RTC had his ult up the whole time there, but just didn't really find an opportunity to use it. See Armlet getting picked up on life, still at 12-minute Armlet, not too bad there. Obviously didn't have the early Midas, but all the same, he has been getting harassed fairly hard. That's it, he's got a lot of CS. Like, Jaro's managed to find the farm anyway. It's just been more the fact, I think he's just been worried about getting ganked, so... Obviously, if you're getting harassed constantly, it's pretty much non-stop Illuminates and Rockets hitting him in this lane. But at the same time, still finding a lot of farm there.
Yep.
Meanwhile, the bottom lane, it looks like they might be looking for a...
They actually just got one. Yeah, Fear was able to get a solo, well, essentially a solo kill. He did the Burrow and Epicenter and Come With Me, who was about 60% HP, so he could have done it by himself, but Prophet comes on in to just help out a little bit and make some extra cash by KSing. But no, it works out really nicely. They do get the kill there, and the important thing was there was... Come With Me felt comfortable because he had that Observer Ward in place, but Sand King did a solo smoke, which put himself in that right position. And you were mentioning one thing earlier about the Treads pickup on Templar Assassin. Generally speaking, you see a Treads Drum Yasha build or a Phase Blink Dagger build. It looks like Demon is mix and matching these a little bit, and I'm not exactly too fond of it because the Ultimate of Zeus nullifies Blink Dagger so effectively, as well as his passive if you do get too close. It really, really limits the potential Blink Dagger, but if Demon can use it effectively, of course it will be very, very destructive for EG, but I'm just saying, there are some limitations to it as well, but he did get it a good time.
Yeah, I mean, especially since obviously the bug where the refraction would block the cooldown there being activated on the Blink Dagger, but definitely if he can get the Alpha Strike in, I mean, he can shred Zeus. I think that's probably his biggest deal. Zeus will have to be very careful about getting jumped there by Demon. If he throws down the trap, blinks, activates the trap, and then just slams him with a meld. Looks like Nature's Prophet, though, is going to sneak into the jump. Oh, okay, going to sneak into the Roshan pit there.
I love this,
and
actually.
should be able to pick this off.
Yeah, easy.
Well,
they have the Meld Strike maxed out.
It might get scouted out, though. I mean, if Kaipi force a fight up here and accidentally reveal it with Thunder God's Wrath, they might actually scout this out, but it looks like they might be able to bring this down in time. We'll see.
Yeah, he rocket flared the lane, unfortunately, so they're just probably going to push the tower and have absolutely no idea about this, which is really unfortunate for them. Demon with that Meld Strike, bringing Roshan's armor down to -3, just amplifying that so effectively, and now they're going to be able to bring it down no problem at all. Aegis on Templar Assassin allows her to act so aggressively, and yeah, that was just a very, very nice, easy snipe for them, splitting the experience 2 ways, and that's only 14.5 minutes into the game.
Yeah, so we'll see that up probably in time for the next major push if they decide to go, because I get the feeling EG are going to get more active. But here we go, we've got a mobility hero jumps in. There's the Infest Bomb with the Burrow Strike. They're going to set up a kill there on Come With Me. Throws down the Soul Assumption, but no way it's going to do enough damage to Solo there to clean him up. And Bambo is also moving in to help out as well. Should also mention Bambo with the Midas going to start rocketing up on that GPM charts.
Yeah.
Like, what's he sitting on right now? Sitting on 280, so yeah, he's definitely getting back in the swing of things, especially since his start was very, very poor indeed.
Yeah,
we see a massive rotation in the bottom lane.
Allowing him to bounce back is very, very important for them here. So he doesn't have any core items, and he won't for quite some time, but the Hand of Midas will allow him to not only get one big item, but a second one and some great experience as well. So he's going to be a big player. It'll just take a little bit of time, a few more cooldowns to that, and he'll be back up to snuff, even though, yeah, like you said, Faceless Void was pretty much manhandling him in the lane. So Bambo, a little bit behind. But as long as Kaipi doesn't force the issue here, Evil Geniuses look like they're in a very good spot. I mean, the Sand King does now have his maxed out Burrow Strike. He can initiate and counter-initiate relatively effectively, even without the blink. And from there, we see the Next Bomb at work. We see the Bane now having his ultimate available. And, of course, Templar Assassin, Aegis, and Blink Dagger. What more could you ask for?
Oh, just looking at the top line, looks like Visage has opened up with the Medallion. I like this Medallion of Courage. I think this is an item we don't see enough. The negative armor is a very, very big deal. And he's going to throw that, I think, honestly, he's just going to throw that out on whoever that, whoever Eternal Envy decides to jump on top of. He's just going to throw that down just to help him burst him down, especially since right now he's got the attack speed, but right now he kind of lacks the DPS. He doesn't do a huge amount of physical damage. But if he throws in the negative armor, that's really going to help him shoot through his target before the Chronosphere expires. Also got to mention that Demon managing to find himself a double damage rune as well. Looking for a potential kill. I mean, he could try and jump Arteezy here and burst him down before he knows what hits him, although no. He does have some backup. Actually, Bone 7's there, so no, he's not going to want to go for that.
He knows the Clockwork's nearby because he kind of crossed eyes with him when he initiated on Pilot Eye. Got one quick strike on him and then realized that he was jumping into two-man gank, and that could have gotten worse very, very quickly. Arteezy will TP up top lane, but cancels it on out and is just going to go for a very gradual walk. So I guess they wanted to try to avoid the push action, but knew that there's a lot of kill potential between these two here. So
I think that was the right choice there. If he, you see where the creep lane pushed down, he's got no support. If he poured it in there, he was just going to get jumped by Prophet and Naix. There was no way he was going to live through that. And of course, Zeus, very easy to drill down.
So Faceless Void picking up a crit here. How do you feel about that, man?
It's pretty much like, I mean, if you're not going to go and pick up like a farming item like the Maelstrom or something, I think this is pretty normal for him. They tend to go for the crit. I mean, he's got the attack speed right now. He might want to stack a bit more damage on it, but I think it'll work out. I mean, crit does, it's either that or you go, it's pretty much either you pick the crit or the Monkey King bar. And I mean, Faceless Void, he's going to get the damage for it. I think it'll work out. And it's one of those things, like you just want to get that huge burst of damage during, it just not so much, cause the Monkey King bar is more sustained damage, whereas the crits for that huge burst damage, because he's got the opportunity, he's going to get at least a couple of crits during the lockdown period of his ultimate, so I think he can definitely afford to get it.
Yeah, I definitely, I think it's a good pickup at this stage to increase the DPS. I kind of feel like this is the item build of a man who's very, very confident in his Chronospheres. If he can hit a gigantic Chronosphere and he just cares about his damage, so be it. That's a great build up to go. Actually, Arteezy can take a lot of damage here. Nice botting light, better hookshot. Jump on it in, and there's going to be the Chronosphere, but unfortunately, cock blocked by his buddy here. The cogs go on through, and he's not going to be able to jump on into that. So just pop off the Chronosphere. They do get out without any pickoffs, but those cogs coming on in and just completely screwing him over. So another haste for Demon. That's like the fourth of this game, but you know. Yeah, the big deal here is if he can get the good chronos off, if he can get the damage output, it's going to be immense. But the problem is, if Bane is outside the Chrono, gets one spell off, a Nightmare, a Fiend's Grip, suddenly he's going to be the target of choice, and he really doesn't have the item build-up to keep him alive in those circumstances.
I mean, I think here's the biggest thing. The fact that if they throw the Thunder God's Wrath down first, if they throw that down first, he can scout. He can decide, do I want to commit to... Basically, decide, do I want to charge in there? So they throw that down at the start of the fight. They can say, all right, go now. Envy, go now. And he can jump in and get his really good chrono off. Or he can say, hold off for a second. They can move in the Keeper Light, the Clockwork, let that go in, and then wait. And let Envy come in last. So they can really make that decision if they throw down the Wrath early on in the fight. That said, though, I don't know if they'll have enough time to do it because, of course, the fights are fairly fluid, and if Fear jumps in and messes everything up, it could get very messy very quickly, but you know what? It might work. It could work out for them.
Okay, so Lothar's coming out for the Furion. He's in a good position to do a lot of right-click damage. Good little split push utility as well. Looks like he's going to be heading back to base to pick that one up there. But the big interesting thing is that Demon has been wanting to jump in, has like literally this is the third time that he's blinked in and done a melt strike to Pilot Eye, but because of Kaipi's positioning, he always has an ally close at hand. He's not going to be in that bad of a position if the Templar Assassin commits in full. So it's interesting that he really wants to kill Pilot Eye. He doesn't have that, I mean, he's gotten more armor because of Tranquils and Buckler, but prior to the Buckler, he didn't have all that much armor, and it was actually pretty easy picks if he didn't have the support. But Kaipi, of course, have their Clockwork always close at hand. That's a good thing and a bad thing. Obviously good because the Keeper Light has not dropped down but once. But on top of that, they're not really initiating, not being aggressive. We only see 5 kills on the board for Kaipi, and I don't see that changing unless EG is the one to jump in. And it looks like down in bottom lane, down towards the Ancients. Oh my goodness, Eternal Envy in a rough patch right here if they jump on in. Waiting for somebody to commit? I'm not sure. But right now, they're going to walk right on into him. There is going to be that Shadow Blade. There's the right clicks. Oh, the Chronosphere comes out fast enough, though. Really, really good reaction from Faceless Void. Arteezy burns down the Nature's Prophet, now closing in onto Jayo. But they don't really have any lockdown. Unfortunately, the Clockwork will not get the Vector to hook him on down. So instead, they're going to fall back from here. But they turn around a Nake's Bomb and actually pick up a kill for themselves.
I don't know if they were actually after him. Did they see him? I don't think if they're actually after him. They might have actually been after Arteezy in the mid lane. Because, of course, Zeus is the easy one to kill, and I think it's just the fact that Envy accidentally blundered into them and threw down... I mean, good reaction to him, throwing in the Chrono, and like the fact that he knew to stand and fight. They get the kill there. Works out for them very nice indeed. I mean, because, the Die, they don't have a ward up here, so I get the feeling, especially with nighttime, I'm pretty sure that it was just a lucky accident for Kaipi there.
Yeah. So, kind of caught by surprise a little bit. Didn't want to fight on those terms, and for good reason. They did get locked down there, feeding away that kill. As I was talking about, it was EG's initiation. That's kind of setting up for Kaipi. They're ready to counter-initiate at all times, but they're really not making the plays happen across the map, so they're just kind of waiting for EG to make a mistake, and obviously, although accidental, that was an absolute mistake. So now we do see, kind of racking it up, Jayo is moving in towards a Heaven's Halberd, because they know, again, that if they can neuter the Void, if they can take out his potential to right-click, then, it's not going to be that big of an impact. But we actually do see down bottom, the Fiendsinger comes on through. He's going to be able to time walk away, though, and Bone 7 is going to be able to lock down that Vayne. Now, doesn't have the hook shot to connect onto Fear, but do actually get the mana leak, so forcing it out, they stun him. Really, really cool move by Pilot there, but unfortunately, he Magic Wand Blink Daggers away, and he will be able to survive. So, one thing I want to highlight on Pilot Eye actually not only mana leaked him, oh wait, actually still on top lane. Jayo gonna try to go down Arteezy, doesn't have the stun though, so Arteezy will be able to TP on out of there. Still gonna pick up the tier 1 tower for himself. But yeah, Pilot Eye was actually, what he did there was mana leak the Sand King, and then although the Blinding Light does not interrupt channels, what he was able to do is make it so that he moved enough distance for the mana leak to leech the last little bit of mana, and as a result it stunned him, which was a pretty cool maneuver, but not really going to get much out of it in the end because of Arcane's Magic Wand keeping Sand King mobile. And still Kaipi kind of feeling the pressure as EG continue to get a bigger and bigger advantage in gold. And now the Chronosphere comes on out. They actually are going to be able to bring down Demon here, I believe. Cogs can come on in and just completely screw him over, but no. He's not taking much damage. I mean, their Fraction, of course, mitigating a ton of that. And they're not willing to go all in, especially with the fact that Bane is nearby. Fiend's Grip on cooldown, as it may be.
Yeah, Mr. Envy Demon quite lucky there. The fact Envy, his Mask of Madness was on cooldown, so he wasn't able to get the damage out to knock off, or the speed out to knock off the refractions there. But I should mention a couple of important item pickers. Obviously, we call the Blink Dagger on the Sand King, but the other important thing, looks like Faceless Void working towards a BKB, and Zeus has had a Veil of Discord for a little while, so he's really looking to cause some serious magical pain across these fights, and especially if they can get it. I mean, if he can get the Veil of Discord on top of Nature's Prophet and just drill and just basically kill him very, very quickly, or even just destroy BD as quickly as well, get the Bane out of the fight, that's going to be a huge boost for them. But we'll see. It looks like Kaipi possibly going to, or probably, I think almost certainly going to lose his tier 2 bottom tower, as we see a quick pause there from EG. Something's, maybe someone in their net has died again.
Yeah, I'm not too sure exactly. There is some small issue there, but they need a moment to deal with it. But yeah, in this position here, EG just kind of feel like they could take this game away pretty quickly, pretty early on. We do see Sanji and Yasha come on through for the Lifestealer. It'll set them up very mobile, very active, and although I don't think it's the most efficient of item choices, those raw stats enable him to really, really stay on target here. So I really would have personally preferred the Heaven's Halberd. And I don't know. I guess that's it. I really would have preferred the Heaven's Halberd, but what it does, he doesn't get in disables. He at least gets immobility. If he's not going for drums, then this is going to be the next best thing as far as capping out that movement speed very, very quickly. Either way, what they are really showing as a team is that they can be very active and very mobile. Like we saw with Alliance, with the Clockwork and the Nature's Prophet, now we're seeing with the Blink Daggers along with the Nature's Prophet. So it's going to be really cool when we see them all kind of out of nowhere, just coming out of the woodwork and dropping really, really quickly down any of these low HP heroes, especially the honestly everybody is just about low HP. I guess the armor from Gravekeeper's Cloak makes Visage pretty tanky, but beyond that, they can all be dropped down pretty quick.
I mean, speaking of the mobility, I think this is the biggest reason for Templar Assassin to Blink Dagger this game. She's with a Lifestealer. I mean, you got Lifestealer, you just want that blink just to give him that mobility, allow him to just give him options to jump into a fight and get on target. And I mean, a lot of people have a huge knee-jerk reaction when they see Sanji and Yash, but I feel like heroes like Lifestealer and DK can really, really justify these pickups just because they benefit from pretty much every single aspect of the item. Sure, it doesn't give them an immediate super game-ending powerhouse win effect, but at the same time, it's a fairly solid item, it's a very safe item, and you just, well, basically, it's like you just can't go wrong with it. It does, it's everything it does is good. It's sort of the jack of all trades item, and the fact that like these guys, they don't need to end the game right now. They can afford just to sort of roll towards that late game because EG would feel confident they shoots the fact they've got all these heroes that work so well. But up the top lane, there we go. The time leap away there. Open waters get thrown down there on top of the Visage. Visage now trying to back it. I think he's going to manage to get killed though. Yes, there we go. Brain Sap going to help finish him off. Cog's just going to stop EG from advancing any further though.
Yep. And yeah, meanwhile, Brambo just keeps on farming away. They pick up a couple kills for themselves, or at least the one kill for themselves, and are just in a pretty good position. They don't even lose the tier 1 up top. That's how little Kaipi has as far as control in these early fights. So they need to get some items that will really change the pace of the game, and the Veil and the Mechanism are certainly ones to do that, but they can't do it alone. They really, really need more damage potential in the Faceless Void, but at the same time, they need Void to be survivable. So it's a really, really kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't. Right now, we are going to be seeing an Aghanim soon on Come With Me, which definitely provides a lot more potential for those familiars. But for right now, Evil Geniuses just running rampant, and there's really not much to stop them right now.
I mean, Faceless Void will have the beat. I mean, they're not too far away. 25 minutes, Faceless Void's going to have a BKB, Mask of Madness, and Crystallis. I think they can afford to start fighting there. They will still need to watch out for Bane, obviously. Obviously, his ultimate is a big deal, and it's pretty much going to be their focus fire. It's going to be their focus fire. They need to kill the Bane, take him out of the picture, or at the very least catch him inside the Chronosphere at the same time, or have Clockwork pin him down. So they'll have those options open to them. I think it's definitely manageable. Once they get that BKB up, they don't have to worry about him getting stunned, or they don't have to worry about Sand King deciding, you know what, let me just channel this ult and then jump in the middle of the Chronosphere and just cause a ton of damage to Faceless Void. So he'll have those options open. That said, it looks like Pilot Eye has got his mech done as well, and I think he's also just going to grab some Tranquils quickly. The extra armor is going to be really, really helpful for him just to stand up against the Nakes as well as the Templar Assassin, even to a lesser extent Nature's Prophet, just because he does do a fair amount of auto attack damage. Once he gets his next item up and running, he's also got a lot of attack speed too, between the Shadow Blade, the Midas, as well as the Power Treads. That's a lot of extra attack speed. In fact, what's he seeing? He's seeing on 0.73 at 25 minutes in. That's pretty quick.
Mm-hmm. Now, we did see that actually the familiars from Visage were able to pick off the Courier, so that's a nice little pick-me-up for them. Kind of narrowing the gold advantage, but it's still going to be NEG's kind of ball court for quite some time. Bone 7, I gotta say, this is one of the weakest levels that I've seen him at this kind of stage in the game. 26 minutes in, he's only level 8. That's an experience per minute of only 157. That's less than his supports. That's less than Come With Me, less than the Ezreal, I mean, I don't know. It's just like in this position here, I really feel like he would be more active. But that's what I was mentioning a little bit, but more actively before, is his positioning. He's always been ready to help out, keep it alive, or help out somebody else getting pressured. But really, that means he's not farming. That means he's not getting his own experience. And so he's falling further and further behind, not benefiting from that agi gain Ice Frog gave to him a little bit ago. And now we see that he's going to pay for it. The Daedalus is up on Demon, and soon that Clockwork is going to just be melted very, very rapidly.
I should also mention that now EG throwing in a quick sneak for Roshan there. It looked like Kaipi were going to try and contest, but they've gotten sidetracked there after Fear. Fear going to buy time for his teammates to finish the Roshan. In fact, just going to run right through that melee, not really caring at all. There we go, just going to walk away from that, and the Roshan is done. EG managed to snag that yet again. It really looked like Kaipi were going to try and contest that, but they decided not to and just went for the Sand King kill. Sand King just backing out, though. He could, I think they didn't have vision, actually. That ward doesn't quite spot across the river there far enough. That Arcanum Scepter on the Visage going to cause a lot of... I mean, not so much the extra DPS from the familiar. It's just going to give them an extra... I think the big deal is the extra stun. It's going to allow them to scout better and just have that extra round they can cover for another stun, just to try and keep Bane out of the picture. And Bane, he hasn't got that much farm, so he's not going to be able to get that quick BKB or anything up. In fact, he's going to be a long way away. I assume he's going to try and get one, but it's going to be a little while. As to EG, Demon, I think he's hoping he'll get lucky here.
Yeah, he actually just might. They're going to be Visceral Familiars moving over top, but they are kind of scouting it out and having absolutely no idea what is lying in wait. So Demon's in this great position here. They've already dropped a sentry, actually kind of, I would say careless. Oh, no, Faceless Void. This is going to be the burst. There's going to be the next bomb. He does get the time walk off. Again, his reactions are great. And there's Bone 7, locking him in with the cogs. It's going to actually force him inside there, and yeah, now he's just going to be able to walk away. But yeah, good movement, and we actually see Eternal Envy survive on through that. So maybe a little bit of luck in the backtrack, but certainly a good reaction with the fact that they could not prevent him from time walking away.
I'm going to say that EG are quite lucky. Like, sure, they were, unlike the fact that Void managed to get away there, but at the same time, they were quite lucky that Clockwork, his hook actually collided with Void as he time leapt away. So, I mean, that would have hit both of them. It would have locked them in with the cogs, and they would have been in some serious trouble there because Zeus Arteezy was at the tier 2 top tower. They had Paladar obviously very close as well. That could have quite easily turned around into a double kill in Kaipi's favor if that hook had landed.
Mm-hmm. Now, Zeus is actually sitting at 3,500. What do you think he's going to be picking up? Maybe an Aghanim Scepter or maybe something with more mobility?
Sorry, who was that?
The Zeus, actually, Arteezy.
Aghanim Scepter. I mean, I'd almost want to see just... I'd almost want to see, like, considering the fact that they really need that scouting from the ult just to try and help them pick off particular heroes or make sure they know where to put the Void. I almost want to see a refresher, to be dead honest.
Sure.
And the fact is, Zeus can dish out a crap load of damage. I mean, you go in the middle of a fight, you pop Bolt, Thundergrad's Wrath, throw down the refresher, and then you immediately pop ult again. That's a lot of damage, and then Bolt immediately after. I mean, you can completely blitz somebody with that.
So it looks like, yeah. Was able to TP away, so fortunate there. Yeah, TP, they initiated on the Sand King in mid. They were able to bring him down quickly, just find and pick off, getting the chrono. But unfortunately for them, Arteezy didn't get bashed there, so he was able to escape out. My knee-jerk reaction for Zeus's item pickups is Ghost Scepter, just because of what he's dealing with. I mean, the Templar Assassin, Lifestealer, that can be Rage, that kind of thing. Pretty high impact, but I don't know. I kind of feel like they need more than that. They need some teamfight oomph, and right now they're kind of being pinned in from all sides.
I mean, I almost say that, but I think the biggest problem is that Templar Assassin is going to jump in, and he's going to pop that to try and get away from him, and then Sand King's going to jump in and he's going to get killed, basically. I think he'll just get destroyed by that.
On top lane, we do see a lot of back and forth here. A lot of damage coming from the Face of Void, though. He should be dropped down. Yes, he is, but there's that big Thunder God's Wrath going across to help bring down the Furion. However, we do see that Infested Inside a Creep is going to be that Lifestealer to sneak on out of there. So Jo should be fine here. And yeah, that's interesting perspective there. We actually almost saw Bone 7 getting picked off. He got bashed in, and he was one right click away from death, but just barely got on out of there, even without the Force Staff. But yeah, unfortunately, Face of Void did get dropped down, and only for a Furion. Not sure if that's the trade they were looking for. So we do see now in pursuit of Demon. He's going to actually clean up two familiars at once. Gets dodges out one of the stuns here, but taking a lot of hits here. Grave Chill on up, but there's that Blink Dagger at work, and Demon will be able to outmaneuver. So yeah, in this position here, yeah, he's just farming up, even up against Come With Me's familiars. So Aghanims, that's just one more familiar to claim for himself, and that right-click damage is going to get more and more out of control as, you know, he has the Daedalus. Pretty much pick up whatever he wants from here.
Yeah, fantastic meld from there, dodging that last auto attack, allowed him to blink away, not setting that blink dagger on cooldown. Also, got to mention, I mean, he was kind of unlucky that he was just within range of this counter ward that he was melded, hoping for someone to blunder by him. Accidentally got, I mean, I'm pretty sure they put this here more to spot for enemy wards up here than anything else. I heard a hook in towards that top lane. JR now getting boxed in, immediately force-stuffs out of his own cogs, so doesn't want to get caught inside the cogs with JR, but now the bashes are coming out from Void, throws down the chrono there. I think it's a pretty decent pick-off. Couldn't ask for a better one there, as they want to snag that last healer indeed. Mech getting popped out by Pilot Eye as well.
Yeah. The only thing he didn't get out of it that he really must have wanted to was he timed the hookshot perfectly to stop Lifestealer's last auto attack on the tower, but the tower still fell in favor of JO, so Evil Geniuses claiming a lot more gold than if it were to be denied, but they got that pick, and that is a clutch one. That's a 13,000 net worth, a Lifestealer at level 16, so Eternal Envy taking a lot to the bank with that one, and he is actually coming down to be almost topped out on level. But as far as net worth, he's still trailing behind by a few thousand. And as we mentioned, he's going to have more and more pressure on him. I actually haven't seen too much Fiend's Grip action on him for quite some time. But in general, when the Scythe comes out, he's going to have to time his BKB very carefully in order to outmaneuver his opponents.
Indeed. Should also mention that Zeus just picked up a Shiva's Guard. I'm somewhat surprised about that. Wow. I mean, it's useful. I mean, the fact that all these heroes, like, reducing attack speed, obviously, if the enemy team is really going to help him out at the same... not only himself, but everybody on his team is going to lower their DPS. On top of that, I mean, Zeus, he needs, like, against this lineup, if he's not going to go with the Ghost Scepter the other way, obviously, to mitigate the damage being dealt by EG, is just to stack some armor, and he's definitely getting a ton of it there from the Shiva's Guard, getting that massive 15 armor out of it. So we'll see what else he's got in plan. What else he's got in store. I mean, between the Veil of Discord that's +6, and then obviously the Shiva's Guard, that's a lot of bonus armor. I'm almost going to say, will we see Faceless... I don't think we'll see an assault from Faceless Bot. I mean, it'd be nice, but at the same time, I think he just wants more raw damage than anything else towards the late game, because he really will need to deal with all of these enemy heroes, all these enemy potential semi-carry, carry/semi-carries. But the other hero who might actually no, the hero who might pick it up is Visage, the Assault, because he's got the plate mail there, and of course, I mean, it's that support item that you can grab, especially when you come with me. He's actually getting a fair amount of farm here. I mean, he's already got the Argonums, and they're actually giving him a lot of farm.
Yeah.
So I think he's definitely a perfect candidate for it. Also should mention that Keeper has a gem now as well.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be a pretty big impact. Oh, Keeper Light. Okay, so they're setting themselves up in a good position where they can kind of rotate and retaliate when it comes down to Bambo initiating on forward. If they could, take some cash out of his pocket and delay that Scythe a little bit more, that would be a pretty big impact. But I think Bambo's just going to keep on farming. We do see initiation on top here, though. Jo going to get bashed on up. Bone 7 won't be able to get the cogs, unfortunately. Actually, Blinding Light trying to push him on in. Will it be enough here? He actually gets pushed on out. Jo taking a lot of hits from the cogs, but it's able to infest inside his ally. Bone 7 really wanted to connect on in. Pilot Eye trying to set it up with the Blinding Light, but unfortunately, it didn't work out, and now they're getting counter-initiated on. Arteezy getting obliterated here. Shiva's not going to do too much work when you're just getting stunned on down. And instead, we do see them just completely getting locked down here. Now going on in, Bambo trying to find a kill himself, but doesn't have the mana to follow through.
Oh man, Kaipi not talking. That fight was definitely a blunder. There's no other way to look around it, because you saw Bone 7 threw in the hook shot, missed, but at the same time, I mean, you had Void throw in his own ult as well. Like, they both just did fuck it and went for it. So I really think these guys need to. Like, this is the second time we've seen these guys collide with their leaps essentially, and just sort of mistime it together. I think they really need to work on that and figure out who's going to be the initiator here. I think that's probably the biggest problem. That fight definitely could have been a ton different. Instead of bringing down the last of which, I mean, should have happened, what happened was they ended up losing Arteezy to the missed gank there. So I think they have had a breakdown of communications almost twice now. But we'll see. Now the counterattack coming on mid, though. The smoke up from Kaipi. Can they pick off a kill here?
Yeah.
They do have the ult up from Clockwork again. I mean, maybe he's just getting a little gung-ho with it because it's on a... Don't you know, it's still in level 1. Clockwork's still level 10.
Yeah, exactly.
It's actually been a problem.
Yeah, I've been looking at that all game long. It's just his levels have not been getting anywhere. Luckily, he got his force at least, but holy crap, he has a 1-second stun. It's not able to set up his cogs, which, even if he does set them up, they're only a 5-second duration. They're not that big of a deal. So, kind of knocking people back and stuff like that, it's just, unfortunately, you really hit the nail on the head there. They are not sure who's going to be the initiator. There's kind of too many chiefs, not enough Indians, and in this situation, leading the charge is both of them, and they just kind of stumble over each other multiple times over, which is just unfortunate, because they have a lot of potential to go for those picks, especially with how aggressive Jo has been in his positioning, but so far not punishing it at all, and instead kind of goofing there. They lose kills instead, and that's very, very unfortunate as EG just continues to get a little bit out of control. There was a point in this game where they were even on experience, but now it looks like it's so far from it with the 10K that EG currently hold.
I mean, I wouldn't call it a little bit out of control. I call it a lot out of control. They've got a 10K gold lead at the moment. On top of that, like we discussed this all game, the fact that the later this game goes, the more comfortable EG get. I mean, obviously Void is definitely scary, but at the same time, they've got these 3 heroes who are relatively well farmed. We've got the Scythe, the Vice, and they just profit along with a Shadow Blade. Obviously, the Daedalus there on the Templar Assassin along with a Blink, and then the Lifestealer. I mean, he's just going to go. He's going to have an Abyssal fairly shortly as well. He's got the Bash. He's got 3.5k in the bank. What has Zeus got? Zeus, another 1,000 gold in the bank, but he's not really. I don't think he's really had the impact that you want out of this game. Like, he really needs to cause a ton of damage towards the 30-minute mark or so. And right now, he's got 3 kills, 3 assists. For a hero who has a global nuke, he's not really doing a whole lot with it, to be dead honest. I mean, we were talking about not much feeding grips coming out of Bane, but at the same time, Arteezy really hasn't been doing a lot with his spells either. They've been fairly passive, and I think this is just because they've been really worried about getting mobile around the map and just getting jumped by an Infest Bomb or getting caught out by the stuns and disables there on the Dire side.
Mm-hmm. So relocating up top, Eternal Envy will be able to push out the wave up top, but the one big thing to worry about is now it looks like Demon has bought out for that Monkey King bar, so he's in a great position there. As well, the Abyssal Blade is about to come out for the Lifestealer. 2 major upgrades for huge damage output, for huge disables, and it's just going to get extremely scary. With this Aegis, I kind of feel like this might be Kaipi's last stand coming up the next team fight. They'll be fighting 6 versus 5. Does Prophet have buyback? Yes, so he can TP back right into the front lines with his buyback, and suddenly that's like a 7v5 engagement, whereas they only have the buyback for Come With Me and Pilot Eye, which is just not going to cut it in a full-out fight. So I really think if EG wants to make it work, they definitely can and should go high ground it at this very moment. They don't have to because, of course, like we said, they can delay the game out, but there's nothing stopping them at this point.
Yeah, and also to mention, Lifestealer has the cheese on top of that as well. And on top of that, Templar Assassin very close to finishing off her Monkey King bar as well. She only needs another 1,400 gold for that. Once she picks up that Demon Edge, she'll be set. So I think they might just wait for Demon to finish off his Demon Edge, and then they'll go for it. They'll have the cheese, they'll have the Aegis, they'll have a ton of items, and I think they'll quite easily be able to carry this fight against Kaipi. Kaipi going to have a lot of work here. I'm not sure what... I think they're looking for a gank here on Fear. Fear might... Nope, they're going to teleport out, in fact. There we go. Zeus also going to teleport back to the mid lane as well. They decided they don't want to go for that gank, and I think it comes down to the fact they don't really have enough vision. They can't see where all his friends are right now. They are doing a fair bit of counter warding though, because I'm pretty sure the Pilot Eye still has, he still has a gem, so they're maintaining map control for the most part on their own side of the map. And though that said, there is still a ward has been snuck into their jungle, so they'll probably clean it up in a little while as well. But that said, Beaters is actually playing fairly dangerous over here. I mean, it's not really... 40 minutes in the game and you're a squishy support with practically no items. You don't really want to be roaming the enemy jungle on your own.
Yeah. Now we do see BKB come out for Fear, and that pretty much means that they have everything that they could possibly need to win the next fight. They BKB, you can't even stop his Blink Dagger with Zeus now, and that's just going to make it so that he can initiate absolutely on his terms. Right now, rank 2 Epicenter is plenty of damage to bring down most of these supports on the sidelines, at least burn down all of the Gravekeeper's cloaks. So we are going to see that Assault Karas attempted for Visage, but he still is going to require that 800 gold to the Hyperstone to finish that one up. So in this position here, there's just really not that much can be done. We're going to see the smoke gate come on through, and if this is successful, it could be devastating. Arteezy, hiding out on the trees very wisely, is going to be able to TP on out of here. Very lucky, because if he had stayed even a moment longer, of course they didn't check the trees, but they have just such kill potential. Double damage. Just look at how much she can do. She'll crit for 2.4x of that. That's, I mean, it's just amazing. Along with that, the Meld Strikes, of course, doing so much damage already.
Sure, as I mentioned, I mean, like the Monkey King bar, it's done. Like EG Demon, he is fat, really. I'm just comparing his damage right now to Void. Obviously, Void has a huge attack speed potential, but at the same time, I just think there's no way he's... even Templar Assassin, I feel at this point in time, could probably go toe-to-toe with him if he doesn't get caught inside that... Oh, wow. Wow. Nakes Bomb.
No buyback. Just they Nakes Bomb, and they get the sheep this time. Every single time they've been... Eternal Envy has been able to react by popping off a single spell, but shift queuing that Scythe of Ice, they had it perfect. He was right on top of the Templar Assassin trap, and that's all the vision they needed to make that happen. Very unfortunate, and I think that might be the last straw right here. They have 150 gold before Faceless Void can buyback, so he doesn't have that available. Instead, Cheese, Aegis, buybacks, all the damage in the world. this should be at least the mid-racks, if not more.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much without a doubt here. This mid-rax is gone. There's no way they can hold this off. There we go. We're going to see a couple of bolts come in. They're going to spam those spells, but they're just going to use Demon to tank. I mean, he's got the extra health. He's got the Aegis there. He can quite easily afford jumper there. Bone going to try and stop that. Not really going to do a whole lot either. There we go. Jarrow getting ready to move back in. Here's the Rax. It's exposed. Still 20 seconds on Void. He does have his ult up. Maybe they can hang on long enough. Oh, the backdoor protection actually kicking in for long enough, trying to hold this off. Can they get the damage? They might actually hold here for a second. Well, the creep wave is close. Creep wave is now back in. Demon, though, with that damage, just tearing through that Rax. Assault Curse just finished up now for Viz. They throw in.
Nice news.
Oh, they managed to bring him down there. He will be back.
And here comes Void.
Cheese is still up as well. And now Void is up. Blaze, here we go.
And they're looking for it, but unfortunately that's EG's cue to fall back. They took the tier 3, they did a lot of damage to the Mayrax, but with that, they saw the negative armor aura from the AC, they saw Void coming back on in, they did not want to throw everything away here, so they're going to cautiously back on up, and they still have control of the map, relatively speaking. Of course, they would prefer to have killed the gem, but in this position here, oh gosh, Shadowblade on Coddle. Like, is this like backdoor games? We Shadowblade up to like over here in the jungle and then just recall everybody in? I don't even know. Like, this is just a weird little play, but yeah, it gives them some way to maneuver in and out and do some damage.
I'm a fan of Shadowblade on the hero, so why the hell not? To see the BKB bought up by Nature's Prophet. I think it's a smart choice from EG to back off. Like, no real need for them to push in there. Just go back, get the BKBs, and then go in after that. Obviously, once they get the BKBs on these heroes, suddenly Zeus, complete and utter non-fact. I mean, that's obviously the other big weakness to Zeus. As soon as the BKBs start cracking out, you've just got such a limitation in these fights. You don't even have any kind of stun, any kind of superior magic stun to offer there, any kind of disable or anything. It's just, you have nothing at all.
Oh, what's Pilati doing? He broke out of his invis, intentionally throwing away the Gem of True Sight. It does get killed by the Nature's Prophet, but my goodness, that was just a huge mistake. Why did he write? It must have been a misclick. I swear, I do not think he's that unintelligent. He must have misclicked when he was trying to move around on the ground because he knew they had vision. They had just jumped in. They were both invis, and no, just really, really big mistake. So it looks like there is a bit of a crash. They're going to disconnect on out and hopefully come back on in. Actually, it looks like Artesia was effective as well. But yeah, that's interesting. So yeah, that was a huge mistake from Pilot. It does cost him his life, cost him the gem, which was the one thing they cling to. But we do see them coming in just a little bit. Oh, Templar Assassin. Oh, the Vidiz is like, oh, those little familiars wouldn't have had the issue if Demon hadn't disconnected. But now, either way, they will survive. He has another resummon available, but I just don't know if it's going to be enough to hold it. Keep it light down for 30 seconds. And, of course, bought out for his Shadowblade, of all things.
I mean, if they're going to lose the hero, Keeper Light's the one they can probably afford to lose here. I mean, I'd rather lose the Keeper Light than come with me. Speaking of losing someone, it looks like they're... Oh, wow, okay, no, not quite. There we go. I was about to say, what was Proper doing? He had a Hex there, but no, it's on cooldown, so that's why they didn't go for that kill. They were hoping Sankey was going to make it in time, but he did not. But they aren't. EG looks like they're just going to go back, fetch Creep Wave. I'm just expecting them to push this lane, and then they'll probably rotate back to mid, I think, and just try and get both lanes forcing at once. And there we go. They're just going to break up now and head back towards mid. I'm actually surprised. Did they destroy the gem, didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
I'm surprised they didn't pick it up themselves. I mean, they've got enough heroes who could quite easily carry it. Yeah. Sankey, obviously, very slippery hero. And they could just, use that to help them counter ward, gain more map control. So I don't think they really need to kill that. But you know what? Doesn't really matter. I mean, they really want one. I'm pretty sure they can afford one at this point in time as well.
Sure. So, a little bit of issues with latency or something like that. Maybe pausing, but right now, not a big deal. The one thing you were mentioning before is Zeus irrelevancy versus Black King bars. And now we do see there is a Lifestealer who has Rage for 6 full seconds. Then we have the BKB on the Sand King, on the Templar, or not on the Templar Assassin, sorry, on the Nature's Prophet, and then one in the making, not very far off, not even 800 gold away for the Bane. So, in that position, then Refraction, of course, for Templar Assassin to avoid a lot of that damage. So, in that position there, Artesia is not going to feel very good. He can't do that much damage. He's going to see all these come out. He's going to try to do Veil Shivas and then realize all he's doing is reducing some attack speed. So he's just in a rough position, and I don't really see a way out for these guys. Is there any hope for Kaipi at this stage in the game?
If we're going to be dead honest here, I don't really think there's a lot of it. I always feel like Zeus might have wanted to go. I mean, this is the kind of thing, like we saw previously, getting the Orchid can help you shut down a hero really, really heavily. I mean, at the very least, you could try and get the jump on someone like Lifestealer or someone like Templar Assassin and get them shut down before they can try and get the defenses up. So there would have been that. But that said, we have gone with the Shiva's Guard, and I really don't know how much it's going to help him. We'll see. And I think this is mostly coming down to the fact that they were really hoping to have Zeus just sort of snowball out of control, put a lot of pressure down, but I almost would have wanted to see something else on the board, like the Storm Spirit, although that said, Storm Spirit was banned in the second phase. But something like the Queen of Pain, Storm Spirit, just the heroes that can really get mobile on the map. I think this is probably been Kaipi's biggest issue, the fact that they've been really scared about getting Zeus mobile because he's such a squishy hero, he can't really rotate that easily. And with obviously we had Come With Me, he was very busy. He was farming like crazy in the jungle, doing a lot of pulls, just getting his farm up, and I mean, it's benefited him. He got the early Arcanum Scepter, relatively early Arcanum Scepter, got the Medallion of Courage, has a lot of damage potential, but that really locked Arteezy to be very passive. At the same time, the top lane wasn't going that well. Paladai was spending a lot of time just stuck there supporting the Clockwork Goblin and wasn't really able to get mobile either. So in the end, Zeus couldn't really gank on his own, didn't have the mobility to get around. Whereas if you're a Queen, a Pain, or a Storm, you can go, yeah, you know, I can run around the enemy side of the map. I'm not too worried. I can get out of trouble if necessary, unless it's like a huge burst damage potential like Lena over there. He can just jump out. Whereas Zeus, as soon as he's caught out of position, open wounds, he's dead. That's it. End of story.
So, yeah, in this position, it's just things look more and more bleak. Demon going to be able to pick up his own evasion. Oh, I guess he could technically go if he felt like it for an Ethereal, but I'm sure it's the Butterfly. So in that position there, there's really nothing that the Face of Void can do. I mean, even if Eternal Envy gets his Chronosphere off, he can kill maybe one person at best. And there's two very, very beefy opponents, the Reaver out on Lifestealer, and of course they have the backup of all these great heroes, especially the Nature's Prophet with that Scythe. So in this position here, it's harder and harder for Void to do anything about anything, and BKB 8 seconds, not going to be helping out in that regard too much. So he doesn't want to have to buy out, because buyback, of course, is so important at this stage in the game. But, I don't know. I mean, obviously we're seeing it right here with him just not being as farmed as he would intend to be. But there seems to be a lot of issues with the servers. Obviously, there's no delay for spectators, but obviously they're having some issues individually. So, not exactly sure what that's all about. The pings seemed okay, at least from the console. But at least for right now, I'm having no problems at all.
I should also mention, I mean, not just the Nature's Prophet, look at the damage on Demon right now. Donkey King Bard, Daedalus, as well as the Eagle Song. He's well on his way towards. I assume that's going to be turned into a butterfly. And once he has that, my God, boy, he's going to have some trouble. I mean, I think it's coming down to the point where, yeah, you look at the damage on Templar Assassin. She's just way, way out DPS. You see the Burrow Strike. Look at that damage. Boy just gets destroyed. They don't even need to hex him there. One stun and all the damage in the world just comes out of Demon. And he doesn't backtrack the melody, and that's just lights out. Nothing you can do about it at all.
Lost so much gold for that. 600 unreliable gold, and then 1380 from the buyback reliable. So I don't know. It's just like he doesn't have anything to his name. Like, he has 1200 gold, and that means absolutely nothing right here. Gonna try to farm out a single camp or two before they push on in for the kill, but yeah, they just don't have an answer for it. And they didn't even commit Black King bars as far as I could tell. Like, there's not one Black King bar was expended that day. It's just like they walked in, they got their kills, they walked out, no problem at all.
I mean, there's no need to. I mean, obviously, if you jump in, try and Black King bar into that. Obviously, Clockwork can just hit you with the cogs. Doesn't matter if you're Black King bar. And Void manages to get out of the stun. He just throws down his ult and runs away. So Black King bar or not, it's not really helping that much there. And probably would just be wasted. It looks like Arteezy just gets away. Almost gets hexed and caught out there by a Bambo. But I am just waiting for EG to push right now because, like, the butterfly is done. I mean, there's not much else that Templar Assassin can do. Right now, she might just say, you know what, let's I mean, pretty much, she doesn't really need to save for buybacks that heavily because they've still got all the tier 2s up, so they've got enough time they can stall for her to respawn if necessary. And basically, she could just go, I think, just straight for the travels. That'll give her a lot of mobility. And then towards the late game, I mean, if it does go super late, then you've got the option of buyback travels straight back into the fight, much like Nature's Prophet.
Yeah, and you just kind of have that never-ending. You just keep on throwing heroes at them until something connects. But honestly, they're just in a great spot. They have maxed out Epicenter now. They can initiate with that. And there's just really minimal threats at all. There's the Shadow Blade, maybe going for those recalls that I was talking about. Right now in a very aggressive position with the Shadow Blade up in the enemy jungle here. And going to be trying to hide out in the trees. And because it's nighttime, he's going to be able to succeed. So maneuvering around, looking for something. But Fear's just kind of nice and cozy hiding in the trees. And I doubt there's any way that they could actually find him out. I mean, they could, but they don't really have any idea that he would be in that kind of position. So actually, Fear... Oh my gosh, did they see him? They did, they're pinging. He's gonna go. He blinks out of that ultimate from the Clockwork instead. A lot of damage coming out. Bambo pops off his BKB, sitting at only 600. There's gonna be that Chronosphere locking down. Eternal Envy will pick up a kill on the Nature's Prophet, but now has to go on the run. His one big cooldown's gone. His BKB expired. There's no way he can fight this, but here comes the damage. Anyways, there's that Epicenter coming in from Fear, jumping in, the Burrow Strike, the Blink. Eternal Envy just gonna go and TP on out of there. Arteezy gonna go on the run, but they've already lost so much, and that should be the death of Arteezy. There's the Fiend's Grip to finish the job here. So they clean it up. And Visage actually picking up the Bane with those familiars of all things. So a little silly there. And we do see actually Pilot Eye on the run due to his Shadow Blade gem just heading on out of there. But yeah, I guess it wasn't the worst fight, all things considered. But it didn't even cost them buyback. It was Nature's Prophet who bought back on into that. So I got to say, Kaipi have to be okay with that exchange.
I mean, Bambo didn't even need to buy back if he didn't really want it. They probably had that fight more than likely. He's just going to try and pick up the familiars. There's one, there's two. Can he get a third? Using the Sprout. Very nice play there from Bambo. He managed to, well, basically predicted exactly where they're going to move and use the sight from the Sprout. They're just going to jump in, get another Roshan, get another Aegis, get another Cheese, and then I think they're just going to push for it. Still got 30 seconds to Zeus. Zeus will probably be up by the time they go for the push, I think. Or maybe not, actually. They're absolutely wrecking Roshan.
Yeah.
27. Zeus should be back up by the time they go for this. I'm pretty sure Radiant should have Glyph at this point in time. Yeah, Glyph is up. And there's the BKB for Bane at long last. He's been working on that for like the last 25 minutes straight. He's been looking for that one for quite a while, but now he's got that. He doesn't need to worry. And here we go, Zeus. I mean, he's irrelevant now. He's completely irrelevant. Everybody's got a BKB or some kind of defensive ability.
Makes it difficult. Yeah, absolutely. There's just, in that position there's very little that can be done. I mean, you look at the lifesteal, he has Cheese. Could have actually double stacked the Cheese if you felt like it, but, you know, you've got the Heart of Tarrasque. You have so much tank. Doesn't even matter what you do. At this stage, Jo, it just chews on through everything. So, yeah, I'm actually not sure what they're hesitating in this sense. I mean, obviously they want to prevent the EG throw. They want to make sure that they don't screw themselves over. But, that being said, they have 2 Cheeses and an Aegis. They have an advantage of 20,000 gold, 25,000 experience. Go id for the win, please. But anyways, right now Kaipi doing what they can. Chronosphere still being a very, very high impact utility, but they have to get in the right place. And right now it's just so darn difficult because as we saw, yeah, you can get a solo chrono on Bambo, and that will screw him over, but the rest of the allies will be able to keep it going, and especially with all these buybacks available. And the BOTs up on the TA, or yeah, that you did actually pick them up from the courier. And yeah, now they're just in this position. Oh my goodness, please kill the Rax at the very least. Fortification is up and at them. We're going to see this action. Actually, Chronosphere up on top lane. They actually pick off Bambo back in the mid. They do get a little bit of Wrath of Nature here. They did get the pick off on Bambo. He does not have buyback. Didn't even get a chance to use his Cheese. So he got picked there. And that might cause EG to wait a little bit longer for this.
Yeah, I mean, if they manage to throw this game, I think that's probably the throw of the decade, to be dead honest. They are so far ahead, it's not funny. And look, like right now, how do you throw a 20,000 goal lead and a 25,000 experience lead? I mean, obviously, Bambo being down right now, obviously blowing his buyback earlier on, I think that, again, really didn't need to buy back, should have saved that. Because right now they could be pushing and trying to end it. Well, actually, then at the end, they're trying to push and end anyway. We get 4-staff out. Burrow going to jump outside of the cogs. Jarrow actually taking a lot of damage. Those familiars drilling him, but here comes the Burrow Strike. BK being popped by Fear. Fear getting stuck in. They're going to actually lose the Templar Assassin. She's got the Aegis, so she'll be up in a second. Boy jumps in. Does he have Chrono up? No, not yet. 40 seconds out. Hook in from Clockwork. Bane's going to drop his Fiend Grip. The bike-click damage from Arteezy trying to take out Beaters. There we go. Cog's going to finally knock him out of it. Cog, we're going to see the Null Strike getting thrown in there. Arteezy getting ripped apart by Jarrow. Jarrow going to eat his face off there. Another summon in there from Come With Me. Come With Me going to jump in there. Going to bring down a target there.
No!
Jarrow still. Jarrow! Is he going to go down?
He pops off the Cheese. He turns around on Come With Me. There's the Ghost Scepter. Keep him alive. Demon, Bob back. BOT's back in the base here. Coming in. Bringing down Come With Me with his ranged right clicks there. But they didn't finish off Void. He's still up and kicking. He backtracked one right click and was time walked out because of those familiar stunts. So Jo runs on away and the game continues onward. Bone 7 looking for a hook. 10 seconds. 4 steps forward. He actually has good perspective here. He gets almost had the cogs, but instead gets sheeped up. Is there blinding light to stop it? No, here's the Chronosphere. They lose the Clockwork, but here's Faceless Void chewing on through. Finishing off on the lifesteal. He has buyback, but they get big kills here. Demon getting stunned up, getting blinding lighted. The nukes are there, and they will finish him. No, he's still alive. He pops Refraction. He turns it around. No, he gets dropped down, but for the triple kill. Eternal Envy cleaning it up without dying once. Still has buyback up and kicking, and as much as I hate to say it, I love to say it, I don't even know right now. They are still in this game.
Jorah's on the ground. I'm going to say Envy really needs a Monkey King bar. Sampler Assassin would have dropped so much faster, but the missed chance from the Butterfly was keeping her up in that fight. So he really, and I think right now, really, he can't really afford to save for the buybacks, to be dead honest. Really just needs to avoid dying, because he needs to catch up on this gold deficit that he's got versus these three opposing heroes, the Lifestealer, the Templar Assassin, and the Nature's Prophet. So, I mean, as much as you'd like to have that buyback money, I just don't think he can really afford to go for it. He just needs to flat out win these fights. Because they can't afford to fall further behind here. If they keep falling further behind, it's just going to be EG just going to eventually choke them out, I think. So he just needs to buy and win and win and win and win.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting how Bambo has not been a factor in these engagements. Like, he hasn't popped his BKB or his cheese. He just dies very quickly. And that buyback just being unavailable, actually has it available, but whatever. It's just he doesn't get the chance to come back in and do what he wants to do. So it's kind of surprising there. But now that the BKB of Eternal Envy is down to 5 seconds, they should be able to get a Scythe off, and that would enable them to bring down Backtrack. It doesn't, bring down the Face of Void. It doesn't mute Backtrack, but he still should be a focusable enough target if they bring down the Abyssal Blade to follow it up and just keep right-clicking away. But we've seen him stay up. We've seen him survive on through. Some great cogs from Bone 7, some great movement from the team as a whole, and once the Black King bars are down, we also see Arteezy making his mark on the battlefield. So really, really impressive out of him. He does have a Geometry side of his own, but for right now, just kind of drawing the line here. EG holding up. Gonna go for a smoke. Good move here. And we'll see if they can make it work. Going in. Dire Vision. Gonna go and try to find out Keep It Alive. But of course he is invisible. And as far as detection goes, I don't think they've bothered. Like, they are in this position here where they're just going on through. No detection at all. But there is going to be that Keep It Alive, which they could focus down if they so wish. Wu is a target, though. Going in, Bone 7, an interesting position. Here it is. Faces forward. Where's the Chrono? Is he going to get it? Going to instead get bashed up, abyssaled up, taking a lot of damage here. Bambo caught in the cogs. They do bring down Faces Void. He has to buy back, jumping on in, but they've already lost Bone 7 as well. They try to cog out and bring down Bambo, but their only option is to really run. Same thing with Pilot Eye. Shadow Blading on in the trees. He will have to go for a TP back on home. So, forcing out a buyback from the Faces Void, that means no Monkey King bar for him. Instead, just farming out the creep waves in the mid before going back to turtle up in his base.
I'm going to have to say, smart play from EG there. They could see Pilot Eye and just went, you know what, that has got to be blatantly obvious bait. No way we're going to go for that. And they just ran right past and didn't even expose themselves and went looking for the rear guard. And they found it. They found Arteezy, they found Clockwork, or rather, they just found Arteezy. Clockwork jumped in, and they managed to get a kill out of it. Mm-hmm. And I mean, Clockwork, obviously, like, not their super late game hero, but at the same time, I mean, they almost want to kill Clockwork more because, as we've been discussing, Zeus is such a non-factor in these fights. As we saw, Clockwork jumped in, hooked in, cogged up, but then immediately Nature's Prophet threw down his BKB, and then Zeus is standing there looking rather stupid, trying to throw in his piddling auto attack damage over the cogs. So, as it is, Zeus not really a huge factor as we've been discussing, but of course, Clockwork, if he can get in there, he can jump in, throw down the cogs, and start pushing people around. And I just want to mention again, like Bulba was talking about the fact that that he thinks with the upcoming changes where cogs will no longer affect magic immune targets, such as the Lifestealer, that Clockwork is going to lose pretty much all of his late game relevance, and I can kind of agree with him there. Because those cogs are really, really helping them keep themselves in these fights. All of these pushes that he's throwing down, knocking the Bane out of his Fiend's Grip, even though he's BKB'd up, moving Lifesteal around, or just cogging Lifesteal and then force-staffing himself out. I think it's been pretty much instrumental to keeping Kaipi in this match.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I mean, that's absolutely the breaking down of the team fights, but that last one obviously not going their way. Lifesteal are very, very good at focusing down the Void. He used the Abyssal, used the Bash, and was able to bring him down pretty much from full. Luckily, Void didn't really get too much as far as backtracks off, because he did get bursted down hardcore. So that was really the big deal, that the Chronosphere never came on through. But yeah, it was just good EG's movement with the smoke and making sure that they were focused on the people behind the scenes, the man behind the curtain, rather than just jumping on Pilot Eye himself.
Indeed. Now, just looking at Sand King, still carrying that gem around. Looks like they're going to get most of the map control here. They haven't found the Radiant Ward in their jungle just yet, but then again, they haven't really been rolling around there all that much at the moment. Just
what is Void doing? He's cornered in. He's going to go for the TP. Will they get the Scythe Vision? Sprout! And yes, they get the stun. They will lock him down. He has BKB. He has Chrono. Will he pop them out to try to survive? No, Abyssal connects from the low ground. There's the Infest. There's the kill. No, Chrono. Time Walk. No. Demon jumps on in. Able to get, with the Blink Dagger, the last hit to finish it off before he can time walk away, which is ever important, as that is now 90 seconds. He's down for the count without buyback.
Yeah, that's got to be GG. I mean, with Void down, there's just who's gonna fight them? With Void dead, there's no way.
What was he
and
doing
this
over there?
time-
Like, he was at the secret shop buying a Demon Edge. I don't even know.
I think he was trying to farm the enemy ancients, judging by the fact one of them has been hit. Maybe I'm not sure. He already had the Demon Edge. He's had the Demon Edge for a little while now. Yeah, he's had that like for actually ages. He had that during that last huge fight down in the mid lane. So I think he was probably just trying to sneak the enemy ancients. And again, like you said, I don't think that was a wise decision at all. Should have been playing more cautiously than that.
Yeah, well, cost him here, but I'm not sure if it really is that defining factor here. It might be the beginning of the end, but actually, no, it's been beginning for quite some time. Fear coming in, channeling the epicenter, will get it off here. A lot of damage coming on through. Wrath of Nature does hit Fear, but there's Bone 7 just getting incinerated by the Infest. The right clicks are there. Fitch gets that Ghost Scepter off to try to keep on doing his soul. Just going to be able to Grave Chill away. Abyssal comes out on him, but not actually going for the kill. Jo goes on the run here, knowing he doesn't have much at his back. Fear should be BOTing back on into this, but we do see a stun coming on. Jo forced to use the cheese here. Going on the run hardcore. Buyback, buyback, buyback. Where are the heroes? Bambo coming on in. The cavalry has arrived. Going on, come with me here. Demon jumping on in with a big blink meld strike to bring him down. And now finishing off the familiars because of how freaking annoying they are. Now, Fates of Void respawning in 10 seconds. Buyback comes in for the Visage. But we are going to see, not even sure what JO is trying to do here. Keep his mana pool alive, I presume. But either way, the fortification comes on through. The mid-range Rax has fallen. Tier 3 being pushed in down bottom. Holiday does not have his ultimate up. No blinding light available, but they fall back once more. Evil Geniuses. Falling back there is going to be Fates of Void jumping in on top of Demon, but the Refraction keeping him alive for now. There is going to be the Medallion. Lots of damage coming through. They find the Nyx that's within, and they get the Bash Rock on the Bane to bring him down. Jo, will they bash him up? He's so darn quick. Now, getting a Burrow Strike off Sand King. No mana for his Blink Dagger instead. Getting right-click down, and the BKB is not going to save him here. Trying to survive, but again, he doesn't have mana. Arcane Boots for 20 seconds. Just need a little bit of right-click, which the Mask of Madness will certainly provide. Gem on the ground. Not sure if they care. In the mid lane, just pushing out the waves, but they hold the line on their bottom racks. And if achieving anything, Kaipi have pushed this game way further than I think either of us could have imagined they could.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think Sand King right now is really regretting throwing away that magic wand that he had.
Yeah.
He would have had the mana to jump out. That said, though, I mean, obviously the plus 10 armor from Plate Mail is really, really helpful. At the same time, I assume he's probably going to pick up... Is anybody an assault yet? No. I'm going to assume it's going to be an assault. He's going to... Oh, no, never mind. Never mind. Lifestealer's got his own assault there.
Sure
so
is.
probably just going to get turned into a Shivas instead.
Well, there you go. Monkey King bar up on the Prophet because, you know, if he ever goes evasion, we got to be ready. So, of course, it does provide plenty of right-click damage, but at this stage, if he goes for evasion, I think he's paying for it with the Templar. Either way, right now, they do have it just to make sure they can lock him down. And another important aspect of that is if they can't BKB the Blinding Light. If they've already used the BKB, the Blinding Light comes on after, the Monkey King bar is great for nullifying that debuff. So, could help them out with the right-clicks quite substantially. But I think that he's probably going to want crit along top of that just to kind of finish out that nice little combo there.
Indeed, indeed. MB, where's he at now? He's got another 3.4k in the bank. Looks like he's dead set on saving up for the buyback set, so we'll probably see him continue to save for that. I mean, it might be enough to keep him in this game, but we'll see. Now, I've got to say, come with me. I mean, I'm going to say, if anything's keeping them in these fights, it's come with me. He's actually doing a disgusting amount of damage with those familiars. And in fact, he's coming in with a lot of negative armor, and he's focusing them down. He throws down the medallion, has the aura there from the assault, and he just picks somebody off. Just says, you know what, and sticks the familiars on it. And does a surprising amount of damage, especially when he throws in a couple of soul assumptions as well. But right now, EG all stacked up on their bottom lane, defending the tower. Just going to roll out now. Or actually, no, they're splitting up. Or are they going to go and form back on the bottom lane, continue to push out? Of course, they've got the mid towers down. Oh, the mid racks is down already. I think they just want to gun for this bottom racks as well. Or no, actually, are they waiting? Nope, they're going to do Roshan first. There we go. Another Aegis. Have they still got cheeses?
No, they've used them both, as far as I could tell. Maybe the Nature Prophet now. He's also used his. So they've got more cheese if they want it. It looks like Prophet will be picking that one up there. But yeah, Templar Assassin with the Aegis the Immortal. Jo with the Heart Tank. Goodness, can they actually manage this? Like, this has been a long time coming. And 62 minutes into the game, I felt that they had this game at about 20-25. And now it's taking its time. Shiva's coming on up, but he doesn't have... Oh, no, he does have the Mystic Staff. So Fear buying out for that full Shiva's Guard. You're going to be able to reduce the attack speed of Face of Void quite a bit, which is very important considering how much he's been relying on these time locks, all game long. Either way, holding the line in the mid lane. Kaipi, still resolute.
We'll see what they can do. And back there we go. Shiva's Guard being delivered finally to the Sand King. And like I said, it's going to help, definitely just a bit. But that's it. I mean, they're pretty much maxed out on items. I mean, Nature's Prophet only has one slot left, but he's using it for cheese at the moment. Obviously, the Aegis and Templar of Sats. Looks like she might just decide to pick up the Satanic as well. And then, of course, Nakes has been maxed out for quite some time. So we'll see what he's got in mind. I mean, Nakes could probably just go for the Travels now as well. He doesn't really need the phase all that much. So just go for Travels on top of that. It's really going to help him stay in these fights, especially with the whole buyback, throw the more heroes in. Because I mean, both teams have been buying back like crazy into these fights, and basically having another hero to teleport in will, I think, probably seal this. Templar Assassin sitting up on the top. I think she's possibly hoping that Keeper's going to jump up there and do something silly, but she is just waiting to teleport in by looks of things.
Yeah, it can be no, sorry, it can't be recalled. But it does have the BOTs up and at him, and just wants to make sure that she's initiating at the right time frame. If you consider the fact that Jayo can infest inside whoever he wants, and the fact that Demon can always BOT to whatever Nature Prophet summons, it means that they have these two core heroes that they don't have to worry about getting picked off at the beginning of a fight. Instead, they can just keep on surviving and being active, and then come in when the time is right. The problem, of course, means that she won't be able to buy back BOT in, but that's not a problem because she doesn't have buyback available. Buying out in full for a Satanic, delivering a heck of a lot of damage already. Now she will lifesteal a very substantial component of that up and keep herself alive and kicking. Do you think it's going to be the last thing they need to actually end this?
Possibly. It looks like Bambo actually teleports to the top. Looks like he's actually just trying to assassinate the minions there for Visage. Visage, in fact, just opting to resummon them, realizing they're not going to be able to get them out of there. As we see a Mystic Staff being picked up by the Radiant Courier. Who's got what coming out there? Visage? No? Who's that? Actually, who is that for?
Come with me. So it looks like it's going to be a Scythe of Ice coming in for Visage, but he needs his Void Stone prior to picking that up.
There we go. So he's going to grab and just a bit of scouting being done by Zeus. I mean, at this point in time, with the amount of BKBs and magic defenses being thrown up against Zeus, it's almost like that's all he wants to use his ult for, just scout, figure out where the enemy is, and it's almost just a flat-out better use for him.
Yeah.
As it looks like, what have we got here? Are they going to finally roll bottom at the moment? There we go. Scythe of Ice finished up there for Visage. So, I mean, he's going to have that extra disable. I mean, if he locks someone down with that and just sticks the minions on, that's going to... I mean, he can probably quite easily take out someone like Bane with his minions alone, I think.
Possibly.
As we've seen, I mean, during the last fight down to the bottom racks, it was, in fact, what destroyed Nature's Prophet was pretty much minion spam there coming out from Visage. He just threw down the negative armor on him and then just cycled the minions. One had stunned, the other two had hit him, threw out a soul assumption, the other one was stunned, just keep cycling that, and just there was not a lot that Nature's Prophet could do. He just couldn't move and just got destroyed fairly quickly.
Double damage up on Demon, but it's going to expire within the next 8 seconds or so, and unfortunately that means it won't be involved in the next skirmish. It would have kind of been a decisive thing, but instead, just going to try to hold the line here. They must know about the Satanic going on in. Is this going to be the last fight of the game? We will have to wait and see. Buybacks available. Prophet is the only one on EG that has one available. The rest, 3 in the court of Kaipi. So they can try to rebound this, but of course they only have one Chronosphere to commit to this engagement here. So instead, split push coming in from the top. Bambo just trying to do what he can up there. Has his cheese, has his MKB. Shadow Blading on up to be as frustrating as possible. But meanwhile, Pilot Eye making sure that the creep wave cannot push on through. Actually mistiming it a little bit. That's going to be an Illuminate on cooldown, and the creep wave will connect up on the high ground here.
I think it should be fine. They're just going to have another Illuminate come through and blow them all away. There we go. Now they're going to move in. See that Rax drop rapidly. Hook comes in. Going to try and stop Jay on his tracks. Throws in the cogs. Well, 4 staffs out. Zeus is actually trapped in there with him. There comes the Corona now. Oh, no. Emily jumps back out. Decides he doesn't want a gun for it. And in fact, Nakes is infested up inside one of the creeps there. It looks like Demon now being caught out by the minion stun. There we go, Grave Chill trying to slow him down. We're going to see another minion stun now as well. Going to catch him out. They've got one more. No, gets killed there instead. There comes Nakes. Jumps out. Going to stun in there. Come with me from Fear. Fear now going to jump back in there with the Shiva's Guard. Going to slow him down. Zeus popping his own one as well. Now another minion summon there from Come With Me. As it looks like nobody really landing a convincing hit here. As it looks like Bambo still up in the top lane. They're actually going to try and pick him off. Getting stunned there. In fact, there we go. Envy going to probably pick up Bambo there. Bambo going... Oh, jeez, just in time. But it looks like they're going to finish off this bottom racks in a second down there, as well as JR still chewing his way through that, Blaze.
They killed Demon, though. They bring him down, and so he's going to have to buy back if he wants to get back up a piece of the action. Instead, Jo, there's the Nightmare coming out through on Bone 7. Big misplay coming out from Beatas, and instead, we're going to see the lifesteal lock down. They bring him down. He has buyback, but they can't get back on into the base from this position. The racks still stand. They actually got the kill on Bambo as well. They forced out his cheese, they followed through, and they brought him down to the point that he had to expend another buyback. Chasing down on Fear, it looks like he'll get on out of there. But my goodness, What a great engagement for Kaipi. I mean, they made it work so well. The one hero that they really wanted to bring down was Come With Me. They locked down Abyssal Bladed, but he had just popped the Ghost Scepter. He walks away. He gets Force Staffed up to the high ground by his buddy. I believe, yeah, who has the Force Staff? It's Clockwork. Yeah, so Clockwork pulls him on out of it, and he survives. They don't pop anything as far as buyback goes. They don't lose a single hero, and instead kill a number of EG. A little bit of lag, a little bit of disconnection. Not sure what's going on with Bambo and Demon. Actually, a lot of people had done that. Glad it's paused. But, yeah, it looks like there's going to be a little bit before we get back onto the action. But right here, Kaipi holding so strong. The Chronosphere didn't seem that convincing. But they're just doing so much work. The familiar stuns, the blinding lights. I mean, they're timing their disables so well, and they certainly have the damage follow through. I'm amazed how well they were able to survive down on the bottom lane when you consider the fact that both Faceless Void and the Keeper Light both head up top to bring down the Nature Prophet. That was a 4 versus 3, and EG still couldn't puncture.
I mean, yeah, they couldn't puncture at the same time. Towers lost. Obviously, Towers already lost, but they took a lot of damage to the melee ranks. But the issue is, I mean, while they're busy fighting there, they lost a top tier 3 tower, and the tier 4s in the middle, look at them, look at their health. They've been getting basically ruined by the creep. So the longer EG just forced them to stand around fighting, I mean, that was a very long engagement. Forced them to split. Like, they're just not defending against the creep waves. I think this is actually, even though EG are dying, like, they are actually getting killed fairly badly. I mean, this is not a good look for them. But at the same time, they're just basically chipping away at the base. And in the end, if they keep this up, Void, he can't really get much more farm than he is as it is. He's going to get one more slot after this. So if they just keep this up, they're going to start losing towers. They're going to eventually start losing Iraq. So at the end, I think Kaipi is still being strangled out of this. That said, again, still good that they held. But again, as you called it, a bit of a misplay from Beaters. Although they're calling lags. That might have just been a bit of a lag there more than a misplay from Beaters. But definitely didn't want a nightmare inside the cogs. You just wanted to leave him there for Lifestealer to eat instead of nightmaring him.
And he couldn't lifesteal. He can. I mean, obviously he doesn't have a lifesteal item, but he still has the feast. He might have had open wounds active. Not entirely sure, but that's a lot of potential for Lifestealer to stay active and at least pick up a kill, for crying out loud. But unfortunately, rendering your opponent immune is generally not the tactic that you're looking for in that kind of situation. Obviously. This game is going to extend out even further. I'm trying to think of, obviously it's been a 68-minute game, but on top of that, how many pauses have we gone on through? I mean, I got to say, we're sitting on like 80 minutes total on this game time or something. I'm not sure, but coming back in, it looks like everybody has been able to reconnect, and even Versuta looks like he's having some issues. Either way, looks like we're good to go. Hopefully we are. At this stage, we know how pushed in they are. We know the tier 4 is being so darn low and the backdoor potential for profit. But right now, Kaipi seem to be winning every fight. Right now, based on what you've seen, throw in your ballot. Who is going to take this game away?
I'm going to say EG without a doubt still. I mean, they're just too far ahead, and the fact that they're gradually chipping down this base. The sieges are working in their favor ultimately, just getting rid of buildings. I should mention, though, that MV finally has his Monkey King bar up and running, so it's going to really help him out a lot against Templars. And that said, he hasn't really been engaged in TA all that much. He's sort of been like, we saw last fight, he and Keep the Light spent the entire fight just basically finishing off Bambo, which, I mean, fair enough, they had to go up there and kill him, and I think the only reason that Pilot Eye went up there, it was specifically because he had the gem, and obviously Bambo was being a bit of a dick there with Shadowblade just running in, running out all the time. But there we go, we're going to unpause and start rolling finally. But I mean, at the end of the day, there is still a 20,000 gold plus lead on the Dire side, and on top of that, the experience, the experience charts jump back. I can't see the final number there, but it's under 10k, I think.
Yeah.
That's it. I mean, under 10k is still a bit of an advantage there for EG without a doubt, but at the same time, I expect it to be a lot worse. But then again, they've been winning these last fights, so.
In this game, we have 5 level 25 heroes. I don't know the last time I saw that many 25s in a single game.
Yeah, who is it? Faceless Void, Arteezy, Lifestealer, Demon, as well as Bambo. Jesus. There's a lot of them. And there we go. Hex. This is probably the most far Keeper Light I've ever seen in my life. Hex, Shadowblade, Mech. Wow.
Well, if you haven't seen Ike's Mike's, he'll have that kind of item set in like 25 minutes. But no.
Oh yeah, Ike's Mike's full of lies. You see, his latest Wisp Escape video, very nicely done. But anyway, looks like EG just sitting around recuperating, waiting for their heroes to come back in. They're not blowing buybacks this time around. They're being a bit more conservative with them. Yeah, both the heroes. Yeah, both the Nakes as well as Templar Assassins still have their buybacks up. So smart holding onto that.
Yeah, this is.
Nature's Prophet also has buyback too.
This is intense right now. Coming on through. A lot of buybacks still available, but not either team feeling comfortable about this situation. It's just been so crazy. And I'll be 100% admit that at a certain stage in this game, maybe around 40 minutes or so, I was honestly a little bit bored with the interaction and how long it took them for the EG to push in. But now that they're actually pushing in and trying to take the base, it's intense. Like, this game, it might be worth it, all this wait, coming on down to see either the biggest comeback or the biggest just shutdown of either team's careers. Like, this is ridiculous how back and forth it's been in this later stages. Yes, they are in a very bad spot. They have exposed racks, both lanes. They have their Ancient almost vulnerable as well. They are in a bit of a very, very rough patch, but right now Kaipi have exhausted so much cash out of that of EG. And honestly, if they can get a really, really good chrono, I easily see them taking the next fight, and possibly as a result, the game Arteezy in a rough spot though, doesn't have a BKB of his own, really has to watch himself here. Fear lost his smoke, but doesn't know where it was from, doesn't want to blink on the high ground, as that could be devastating for them. So we do see sentries, observers everywhere, but the smoke comes down to try to go for a backdoor down on the bottom lane. They have the assault cross. There's that ultimate coming from Zeus to scout things out. Trap comes across on Arteezy. There's the hook shot connecting. Bone 7 right on top of B-Diz here. Not going to be able to do too much to him. There's going to be the Faceless Void. 3 right clicks, and he burns him down with that Day Dallas. Now has his Monkey King bar. Now is up and kicking. Still has buyback, but actually popped his BKB to get on in there. So I'm going to have to wait for that to come back on up. But in the meantime, EG falling back, at least for the moment.
I just like to point out that Arteezy has rotated from being the solo media kill hero to being bait. That's pretty much all I've got Zeus for doing. The fact is, like, Keeper Light is using him as bait. Yeah. Keeper Light has more farm than him, has more useful items inside of the Vice, to be dead honest. Is more useful right now than the Veil of Discord, as well as the Shiva, so they're just using him as bait, and you saw him just tailing behind Zeus with the Shadow Blade, just hanging around, hoping someone would jump Arteezy, and then he'd just throw it in the Hex immediately.
The bigger the worm, the bigger the fish, I suppose. So trying to heavy-handedly set them up to jump on in, and he does look delicious. I mean, he is a Zeus. He only has 2100 HP, but it looks to be deceiving. He has 64% physical damage resistance, with the Shivas providing so much armor, and on top of that, now he has his Ghost finally. So in a good spot to set it up where he can just survive through anything, and if he wants to buy out, he could even go for an Ethereal Blade right now. So he could go for Veil Ethereal and then go Shivas and all of his spells, and suddenly somebody's dropping very, very quickly. Not that they're not already from the Faceless Void, but adding that kind of contribution, I agree. Blinding Light, Scythe, amazing, but if he picks up an F Blade, I honestly think that Arteezy's potential could double.
You reckon throw Keeper Light back to being bait? Yeah. No, you can see that. I mean, Keeper Light has been trying to bait, as it looks like they're going to wait for the Roshan to come back up. EG said, you know what, no throwers here, we're going to secure this one.
Smoking it up.
Oh wow, it looks like a Roshan fight, although I think they've realized trouble is coming. They got scattered out by the rocket flares, and okay, trouble's coming. As it looks like Zeus still has Thunder God's Wrath up, so they could scout with that once again. As it looks like they're actually going to give away their position. They're just cleaning up these traps with Zeus. Another one getting thrown down there. Arteezy just being slow for the fun of it. It looks like they're just going to send the minions in there with Void. Void going to jump in. In fact, will Kaipi...
Here comes Bambo. Is he going to bamboozle it? No, there's the Chronosphere to lock down Bambo. He is gone. Going to have to buy back on into this one instead. There's a lot of damage coming on through. Demon is going to be the one to get locked down here. So much damage. Templar Assassin's gone, but here's that Epicenter going across. Buyback from the Void as well. Aegis and Cheese just sitting there while they go and right-click away. Jo can't get through the cogs. Too much damage going across, and now he is on the run here. Now Demon coming in with that buyback, trying to rush on in here. Unfortunately, couldn't BOT to anything, so now just jumping on in. There's that Infest, but Jail's on such low life. Where's that Burrow Strike? Fear gets caught on in. Low life. Everything going on through. Soul Assumption going across. Jo is on the run. Arteezy's the one dominating. Now connecting with the Soul Assumption. The Rocket Flare. The right clicks. Jo. Armlet toggle up on the high ground. He is still alive. There is no hook coming in from the Clockwork for another 7 seconds. Can they actually finish off Jo here? Faceless Void trying to time walk in, but not finding anything here. And so, the end result is this base getting completely destroyed. Tier 4s getting locked down hard. Veil and Shiva's cleaning it up, but only can do so much here. Buybacks popped off from the Faceless Void, the Templar Assassin, and the Nature's Prophet. But as far as Cheese and Aegis goes, did they all get denied?
I'm not dead sure there. I managed to miss it in the middle of that. That said, yeah, there we go. Keeper Light denied the Aegis to the Immortal. I assume somebody must have picked up the Cheese then, unless there's no message for that. But the thing is, I mean, Void was so close to getting that kill on Roshan there, and unfortunately, I think either Roshan bashed him, or I'm not sure if it's Roshan who got the bash off, or Jo actually managed to sneak in with the Abyssal Blade. The Abyssal Blade was in cooldown during that fight. It might have been he got the Abyssal Blade down on him, or it could have been Roshan snuck in a lucky bash there. One of the two, but in the end, it was followed up by a stun there from Sand King, and that was pretty much the end of it there. And unfortunately, I mean, had he managed to snake the Aegis, that would have been a completely different fight, but it was just literally a split second too late there for him. So unfortunately, they tried. Kaipi made a good attempt, but in the end didn't quite pan out for them. It cost him a lot of buybacks to stay in that fight.
Wow. So, now, back and forth, having Halberd up on the clockwork. We do see Faceless Void. He really wanted that 6th slot filled out by that nice 1-up mushroom, the Aegis the Immortal, but right now just farming up the BOTs and looking for another cast load for buyback, and that's going to take him a little while here. In the meantime, we do see farming down on bottom, Pilot Eye. He's moving in towards the next big thing, currently sitting at 3,200 cash. Actually, just looking at current gold, we do see that the lifesteal is sitting at 4,300 himself, and actually going for a smoke. They want to try to finish this off here. They know there's no buyback on the Void. It's kind of been a thorn in their side this entire time period, and now they get Invis initiation from Sand King, everybody right behind him with the Smoke of Deceit, and they could go right in for the kill, but it looks like Demon has been scouted out on this Observer Ward placed by Pilot Eye, and so as a result, they know what's coming. They're going to turtle up in the base. And unfortunately, another smoke not going on through.
I'm just going to see if they can hold. We'll see if they can hold this off or not. I think we're pretty much out of buybacks at the moment for both for the Radiant side. Actually, just going to double check on that buyback status. Yes, so Radiant's pretty much out of buybacks there, except for Come With Me, which I mean, you have to keep him in the fight. I mean, he's actually doing a fair amount of damage. It's not to be sniffed at, and it looks like Pilot are playing fairly aggressive. I don't think there are any gems up on the die side, so he should be fine there for the moment. That said, it looks like the die are going to back off, being fairly cautious. I think they're really worried about getting caught out here by Envy. Although Envy actually in the mid still, just farming it up some more. Has actually gone for his own travels as well, should mention.
So he's mobile enough, they can jump on in. They already have the recall from Keeper to keep him wherever he wants to be, but just in case that's not an option, he does have that mobility while he saves up for... yeah, and at least the buyback. But Arteezy picking up the Ethereal Blade just now farming almost enough cash to get the buyback up and available. Just short of it, actually. He didn't get any last hits from that creep wave, unfortunately. But the big thing here is he has a lot of damage potential. We were talking about how much the magic damage tapers off in the late game, but when you got a Veil and an Ethereal Blade, you can do a heck of a lot of damage and, you know, just throw on whatever you want now. Actually, I figure you might want to go for more utility after this. Maybe go for your own Scythe of Ice, but I don't know. It's at this stage where I really, really feel like it's anybody's game.
So, like, the Ange handling the stats here, 3,302 creeps have been killed this game, and the number just skyrocketing up as both a massive top wave up there going to be cleaned up by Come With Me. Going to chew up a lot of creeps in. We'll see what he goes for next. He's going to get picked off, though. Oh, Nake's bomb there. He's being backed up, though. Blinding Light gets thrown out. I don't think it's going to be enough to save him.
He got the Ghost Scepter, got the Chronosphere. He might get out. They don't have a Force Staff to clean it up, but Jo is only going to get one right click on. No, the Sheep Stick comes out immediately from Come With Me. They get two. They buy back on the Nakes, but they don't have it on the Prophet. Now going in the bottom lane, are the racks dropping? Fortification still available coming in Pilot Eye with the Blinding Light. Not yet. Looking for the site. They're going to be the ultimate going across. Betas is going to get right click down hardcore. Another BKB coming on through. Demon on the front line, but there's that Ethereal Blade locking him down, but he avoids all of it with refraction. Still full HP. Epicenter charging up. Going on Arteezy. They brain sap him, but they don't get any kills. The Burrow Strike going across on Pilot Eye. There's the Shivas, but here's the Sheep Stick to turn it around. Arteezy might drop here. Oh, the right click from Demon is enough. Fear going to be able to get away. Nice Nightmare following after that Sandstorm, but Demon out of mana, possibly out of life. There is going to be no mana leak to lock it down, though, and Come With Me. This is going to be his death. Oh, no! On the front line, there's so much familiar damage, and he gets a Soul Assumption to finish off on Demon. Now going on through. He still has his buyback after all this. He will come back immediately. The racks still stand. There's damage coming in from the mid lane. They are going to use the Eternal Envy's Faceless Void to clean it on up. But my goodness, is this such a fucking stalemate?
I know, right? I mean, probably a big issue. That said, though, they finally got rid of all the tier 4 towers, and see the creep. I mean, where EG is not succeeding, the creep are just gradually working their way through. The throne is down, 25% health. They've lost that there. It's probably going to regen up. I mean, they're going to get this eventually. They just keep it up like this. I should mention that Envy's DPS right now is really sorely tied, especially since he's traded out the treads there. He's very sorely tied DPS-wise to his Mask Madness. When that's down, we see he loses so much attack speed. It's a bit of an issue, actually. But I think he really wants to get some other really good form of attack speed in there, and I think almost wants to trade out. I think he needs to trade out that gem and get himself a Hyperstone.
Yeah, definitely wants to
I
look
think it's
towards
voted out.
maybe Mjolnir or something like that, and then after that, he can even trade up the Mask of Madness to something more cost density as far as item sets go.
I mean, the Mask of Man is one of the most, I think, probably the most cost-efficient form of DPS at the same time. That said, of course, he's taking a lot of extra. I mean, you want to multiply your damage by 30% when Templar Assassin is tossing out like 1,800 damage crits. That's pretty risky, I'm going to have to say, especially when you can't rely on an added Butterfly to help you out because, of course, there's Monkey King bars everywhere on the other team. That's it, Nakes. I mean, it's probably the other thing that's holding them back quite a bit. I'm going to say Nakes should probably just swap out the phase boots at this point in time. It's getting that late in the game. He doesn't really need it that badly. His buyback is on cooldown. He's on cooldown as well, so he doesn't really need the cash.
4 sets of BOTs up on Kaipi. 6 level 25 heroes in this game. Experience per minute has equaled itself out as most of the EG's core heroes can't gain too much more. In this position here, it's just ridiculous. I mean, honestly, what do you do at this stage in the game? You have to group up together to try to go on in, but so far EG have just been bashing their heads against the wall. They've left a few dents, but maybe chipping their skulls a little bit more than they prefer. And instead, yeah, they are scattered around a little bit. Bambo currently farming up in the jungle, looking for the next big thing. Maybe going to get a Daedalus, but you know, taking his time. And in the meantime, just defending mid, defending bottom. Kaipi holding strong, at least for the moment. They do have buyback back up on Void, and farming it up almost again on Arteezy there. So, good position for him to be in there. Not sure how much it's going to affect it, though. It's just really interesting to look at these levels and look at the fact that there are only 4 heroes in this game that aren't 25. I mean, you're looking at Bone 7. He was sitting at, like, level 8, level 10 for the longest period of time, and now he's 19, and he's closing in on bigger and better levels. And it's just, that's what happens when you're at this stage in the game. Everybody's maxed out, and you get so much from every single kill. But the question is it enough? Demon, those that right click, I mean, just looking at the side like clearing out creep waves, it takes a matter of seconds. But they're counter pushing very effectively. Paladin in the top lane, for example, setting up the Illuminate with his ultimate, then just going to go and Shadow Blade or TP away to survive, and they keep this war of attrition alive. My goodness.
I want to give a shout out to Pilot Eye here. It's how do you A, see an 80-minute game, and B, see a support player make it to 80 minutes in or even like 60 minutes in and only have 4 deaths.
Absolutely.
And I mean, it's not only that, but he's on the team that is 25,000 gold behind, and he's only died 4 times. You just don't see that. So he's managed to keep himself alive very, very easily there. I think it's partially because they've had some pretty good saves there on the right side. On the other hand, Arteezy, I'm actually not dead sure what he's. I think he's just hoping he can come out here and blast somebody and hopefully make it. I think he's almost hoping that Nature's Prophet shows up here or something. Well, that's a Nature's Prophet just BKB and laugh at him and probably kill him. So I think he's probably not hoping that Nature's Prophet comes up there, but he's just going to teleport out. He's just trying to put some pressure on that top lane. Here we go. And it looks like EG are finally going to group up and fight. No, actually, I think they're just going to keep the pressure on this lane, and then they're going to go and run over to Roshan and do Roshan because that's almost up.
30 seconds.
We'll see. We'll see. Or maybe not. No, actually, they're getting fairly aggressive.
Yeah.
It might not, Blaze.
I don't know. BKB popped off from Fear. He wants to go in for the epicenter clockwork. Bone 7 in the front lines here. Gets obliterated by a crit. Coming in a double burrow, but there's going to be that Chronosphere popping off on Jayo. Bursting him down hard, but no, there's the Fiend's Grip finally connecting onto Faceless Void. Falling back immediately. Infest inside Demon. Jayo is popped back on out. Going to try to do some damage. No, on the run. They aren't going to be able to connect with the familiars, or are they? There's that Grave Chill doing a lot of damage here, at least picking off Betas here. Epicenter finally coming in. Burrow Strike going to be able to bring down nobody, actually. Everybody already dead. Instead, Sand King feeds his life away. Triple kill for Come With Me. Nobody looking at Roshan just yet. And now they're on the run forward. Faceless Void just clearing out the creep wave. The Treants trying to do what they can, pinpricking away at the Ancient. But for right now, it still stands. They have to keep at least one in the base. I think that means they can't do Roche because of the fact that Bambo can just completely screw over a rat. Oh, the Sheepstick connects. I don't think they can actually follow that up, though. No, they can. Here's 3 familiars saying otherwise, and Bambo will be picked right here. Dominating for Come With Me. They're just not dying. They're getting the kills. And, yeah, although Nature's Prophet has that buyback, we are going to see Jayo go in for that solo on Roshan, and surprisingly taking very little time. I think that Roche has hit his level cap, and so he's not going to be able to scale any harder. He's just going to drop down very, very quickly.
Yeah, there we go. I mean, right now, they're not in any... I don't think EG are in any serious danger at the moment. Both their other primary late gamers have their buybacks up and running. Templar Assassin only had like 10 seconds left when she died on hers. So they'll pick up this Aegis once again. Going to hand it over to Lifestealer, as well as the Cheese as well, also being transported back on the couriers. You see, Oh, Envy jumping in there, hoping someone was still in there. He doesn't have Chrono. Oh, actually, no, Chrono only 5 seconds away. That actually could have quite easily been a kill had the Lifestealer hung around there. That said, looks like EG, they're going to get aggressive on EG here. Kaipi are going to move him, but they're probably going to get the tier 2. Templar Assassin is going to give me back up, and Bambo has a buyback if necessary. On top of this, they've got the Aegis and the Cheese now. I think at the very least, Kaipi are probably going to have to wait this one out, to be dead honest, and the ball is still going to be in EG's court. They're going to be the ones to make the attack.
Bone 7 missing his hook.
There we go.
There goes the Scythe of Ice, connecting on top. Corner Sphere coming out, and Jo, can they bring him down? This time around, he has Aegis. The Immortal Beat is still alive. Pops off his BKB. It's 70 HP. Jo swinging away, pops off that Infest. There's that Epicenter once more coming on through. Coming with me, taking a lot of damage. Paladai as well, but still stands. They turn it around onto Jo. He is going to lose his Aegis. The Immortal raging on away. It's not enough to keep him up. Fear getting hit really hard by these Soul Champions, but not afraid for his life. He has the cheese. He is fearless right now, trying to get a single stun. One stun is all they need, but the time walk away keeps them active. Instead, Jo on the front lines can't connect with anything. There's that Burrow Strike connecting on a Face of Void. Tried to BOT out and instead gets dropped down. He doesn't have buyback for 2.5 minutes, and I think that might be it. That kill on Face of Void is so essential right there. Come with me. Nightmared up, Burrow Strike down, and that is another kill. I think they can buy back on Come With Me. But the big thing here is they still have cheese on Sankin. They can give that to Jo, and most importantly, Eternal Envy's down for the count.
I'm going to say a big factor of that fight. They could have actually gone better for Kaipi. I don't think they would have taken a Rax, but they could have possibly won it, or at least forced EG in a more defensive posture rather than losing all their heroes. The fact was, the biggest issue, one of their big damage dealers was Visage, and he walked not only himself, but all 3 minions into the Chronosphere, unfortunately. As we see the hook and the 4-star bout, KP Bone 7's been doing it so effectively. Now Beat though losing health rapidly, going to get taken. No, managed to escape for the moment. Going to walk into a creep wave, probably die to the creep here in a second. A Hex goes down, Beat goes down to a couple of creep attacks there, and looks like Bone 7 also next one to fall. We still have 40 seconds there on Faceless Void. Faceless Void probably not going to be here in time. And now Templar Assassin charging. Templar Assassin actually being forced back. Templar Assassin being burst down super hard. Come With Me, going to cause some massive damage. She gets healed up though. She pops the Satanic, and that's going to be Come With Me going down, not without a fight, but getting brought down regardless. We're going to see Arteezy pop the Ghost Ethereal Blade on himself, trying to keep himself alive. There's a trap. Fiend Script as well. Arteezy goes down, and I think that's game, set, match.
It indeed is.
There we go.
Good game, well played. The racks are gone, mega creeps, and most importantly, this Aegis about to be dropped down. Faceless Void getting caught out. The Sand King's pursuit. I can't give him the MVP across the entire game, but that last moment, Fear getting the Burrow Strike up on top of Faceless Void in the trees there was the one thing that let them win this fight and finally push him for the win. 86 minutes later, EG takes it away in this freaking best of one. Buybacks, I don't even know the count of buybacks on this game, but my goodness, just such an extended match. And in the end, EG takes it away against Kaipi Gaming. They get the kill in the Faceless Void, they win the fight subsequently, and it finally ends. Evil Geniuses advancing on into round 2. They'll take on Mouse Sports a little bit later. I'm like, my mind is scrambled eggs right now. Don't even know the schedule, if they're coming up next or if we're gonna wait. I think they are coming up next, as a matter of fact. We switched it around a little bit, but I believe it is gonna be Mouse Sports versus EG coming up in a little bit. But I'm certainly gonna take a breather. I'm sure EG needs a little bit of one as well. Do you have any closing thoughts on this wild game?
Let's just get the next game going. Screw this.
Sure enough, man. Sure enough. Alrighty then. Well, that is it there. Spectacle to behold, indeed. And that's going to be it. So moving on forward into the next game whenever we can. Right now, I'm happy to give EG a bit of a break and myself one as well. But it should be in about 5 minutes or so. We'll catch up with Mouse Sports versus EG to but to further on continue this Reaver Cup, as we still have, after that, a best of 1 and a best of 3. But we'll see here. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Premier League Season 5, Reaver's Cup. Well played to EG as they advance forward, and Kaipi, better luck next time. Going on to the next game in just a little bit. I didn't even see Divine Rapier was picked up by Prophet, but it seems like it's white noise.
After the GG was called.
Yeah, okay. There we go.